Hello, I'm Antiderivative Jill, and this is Indefinite Lunch and Infinite Combinations number 94, where I'm continuing a very special journey through all of the episodes of Star Trek The Original Series. We're watching in production order, so we're on the episode That Which Survives. And so this episode, That Which Strings You Along is something that I really felt watching this one. And I don't know, maybe I just have a prejudice against people who appear in episodes, don't really explain anything until the last 5 minutes, but there's a lot of fun in this episode too. So I want to talk about that also. And also I think that this episode is the true birth of TNG technobabble that is on some level followable, which I think is kind of neat. That we get to see later. However, for some reason, fate has decided that today life is going to imitate art as two of my usual co-hosts are indisposed. Pop culture curator was informed this morning he had to go out of town, and I wish him safe travels. So be careful with those weirdos on the road, Pop. Also, Scotty R37, he watched the episode, but he can't be here because the power has gone out. He's got no power. Scotty, without power, he's stranded. Of course, in the episode, it's backwards with the first officer on the ship and the captain stranded, but it's close enough. But I'm here with my intrepid landing party with Stone Racket, Jim's Landscape, or Commodore Boone, and luckily also Birdo Prey 5. Thank you guys for being here.
Kapla.
Howdy, howdy. What's up?
Yeah, we're going to have a good time talking about this one. It's the 14th episode of season 3, first aired on January 24th, 1969.
A very good year.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. The summer. It's going to be the summer of love, right?
I remember it. The summer of love is 67.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that goes to show you what I know.
Yeah, San Francisco, and they're 69, of course, is Woodstock. So.
There you go.
On the moon.
And of course, yeah, I was going to get to that. Birdo Prey 5. The most important thing is we landed on the moon.
And,
Woodstock.
yeah, not because it's easy, but because it's hard.
Because it's I love that speech.
Because it's there.
Yeah.
Yes, and Stone Rocket's given us a preview of his grade. He's given it a B. Would have given this episode an A if NBC allowed me to gaze upon Lee Merriweather's navel. I'm a toxic male, and I make no apologies. Nice.
Yes. Once again, we have another example of NBC's irrational fear of the female navel, because Lee Merriweather's costume as Lucira has that silly flap that covers her midriff for quite a bit there and covers her beautiful navel.
Well, there's a matching silly flap at the top to match the bottom one. Hello to and also hello to Mikey Sue's 4. And Mad G is here under the name of Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU. Mikey Sue's 4 gives us an A, one of his favorite episodes. And she played Catwoman on the Batman movies and TV series. What's not to love?
Yeah. Now that I have to take issue with that. She did not play Catwoman on the TV series, but in the Batman movie that was released during the summer of 66.
Thank you for the correction. Franco Walker's here. Hello. Mikey Sue's 4 wants me to get 5 more subs. If you enjoy the show today and you haven't subscribed, please do. It's for free. And Franco, actually, Mikey says to Franco, we should encourage Jill to play with Jeff Nerdy. On Saturdays, I am always at Saturday Night Star Trek with Clobbering Times. So that's why I don't show up there. But maybe one day I'll skip Clobby for that. I don't know. I'll think about it. But you know what the thing is? Secret is I'm not really that good at trivia. I will be trounced.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you to, be on your toes for that trivia.
I know. I like to listen to trivia. Hello to Gavin Blackburn. Hey, how are you doing? And Penny's here, headed out to the store. Be right back. Leaving window open on laptop. Oh, thank you so much, Penny.
Hello, Penny.
Hey, Penny, what's up?
Getting those watch.
We all send Penny hugs.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And
Last one.
my cat Harpo is here with us. He's on my lap.
Oh, hello, Harpo.
He's a big
Last
Star
one.
Trek fan.
Of course
Oh.
he is. Last one of Kay says, hello, Jill, panel, and chat. I hope everyone is doing well. Jim, did you have something?
No, I'm just saying,
Oh, hello to Harpo.
I'm just
DJ
saying
Play
hi.
Nice. Oh, yeah. DJ Play Nice is here. Yeah. Great to see everybody here in the chat while we talk about this episode. That which survives. Yeah. So reference to production of these episodes will include Star Trek 365, which I learned about from Raquel Briggs. She reviews all of real Star Trek from 66 to 2005 with Clobbering Times on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Central. And we're finishing season 4. So I will be on the panel. I'm usually on the panel at the end of seasons. And so the end of season party, we're going to have fun. That'll be good. Edge of Time. Hello. Hey.
The mysterious edge of time.
Oh,
What's
hey,
up, man?
hello, Sci-Fi Sith Dan. Jill, there is one in which they have an AI with the female form, and at the end, they're forced to disable the AI. Well, yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, well, it's a computer lady. There's lots of them, lots of copies, and there's a message at the end of the episode explaining why. Yeah, yeah, it's all a exposition dump right at the end of the episode. And I didn't say that it doesn't explain it. I said it waits until the last 5 minutes to explain it, and it does. It does explain it, but come on. If they would explain it sooner instead of relying so heavily on the mystery, then we could have integrated the elements that made the AI system cool. Like, interesting. I think it's an interesting idea that she doesn't want to kill and that she has this empathy about her. That's like a remnant of her lost soul. But why not tell that early on? Because that's a cool Star Trek idea that could have carried throughout the episode instead of just like, here it is at the end. Bye.
Edge of time must be covering their navel with an auxiliary flap, I think.
As I've often said, all of TOS episodes, they all rank A from me.
Same here.
It's just, however, this particular episode was a B.
Whoa.
Was a B. Yeah.
That's incredible. That
Yeah,
is quite
it's
quite a showing for you.
Watching it, it's like, wow, this is the minimal effort that
Well,
still
right.
calls it's still a TOS episode.
It is.
Still
It's Star Trek.
wow, it's still Star Trek.
For
But
sure.
I mean, this was the laziest.
Well, that's why I was
episode I've
saying that
seen.
this episode kind of invents using technobabble to fill in for the plot that we get to see later on in Star Trek, for good or bad.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this the first time that they solve a problem by reversing the polarity?
Yes, I think so.
Very possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible. This is
Yeah.
the first time I'm noticing it anyway.
Yeah,
in terms of the magnetism being extremely
Right.
important to the function of the ship, the engine.
Yeah, it works in this one because, like you just said, it's instrumental in controlling the flow of the matter antimatter and the magnetic what shall we call it, magnetic corridor.
Right, exactly. That's a really cool cool looking scene. Hello to Alan Trioscillator. Let's see who. Lee Anthony Davis on Twitter says, I thought Jeffrey Hunter was fantastic as Captain Pike, and the cage for me is what Star Trek is. Well, I do love the cage. I love number 1, and so thank you for being here, Lee Anthony.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah.
And also, what happened to Gene Roddenberry after he wrote that? Because that's a fairly well written episode. And if you watch it as the Cage, unedited, for the menagerie parts, one of the two-parter, the menagerie, you watch it as it was originally intended for the network executives. There's actually some lines in there that I call howlers, which are just ridiculous. I'm glad they edited all of those out for the presentation of the Cage.
But they kept the women.
Oh, I love that line. Actually, I've quoted that one a few times. There was a critical care lab that I would frequent, and all the lab technicians were women, and so once in a while I would I'd go, the women. They knew I was a Trekker, so they got it. But anyway, yeah,
That's pretty
yeah.
cool.
Spock shouts quite a bit in those early.
Well, they haven't quite figured him out yet, and this episode feels like they haven't quite figured them out yet.
Yeah, it feels like that's the true reason I knock it down a grade, because Spock is an annoying person.
Yeah. Well, like Mikey says, he even corrects the female helmswoman who took over for Sulu.
Yeah, now that
I don't mind that joke being done once, but it's done like 3 times.
It's done more than that, I think.
More than that. Okay.
Yeah, because he corrects.
I didn't count.
Yeah, he corrects. I think he corrects the female helmswoman, who's Hindu, and and corrects Uhura, or it talks down to her.
Well, yeah, he
and then and if he had the two lines that work for me are when Scotty talks about writing and nursing the warp engines, and Spock's comeback for that. That's gold. And then when Scotty's in the service, the magnetic crawlway. Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you. The crawlway there, and he describes how it feels like ants crawling on his body.
I like that too, but I liked that description. I don't think it makes any sense to talk down on the emotions of your crew when they're not interfering with him getting the job done.
Yeah, exactly.
And Last Son of K is here. Hello. No, DJ. I have to check it out, considering the song title and knowing her voice. Oh, I don't know what this is about, actually. Sorry. I missed the context for that one.
DJ
yeah, I liked what DJ said. He disagrees about the moon landing being the most important thing in '69. It was his birth in the month of December. I can't argue with that, DJ.
Oh, wonderful. Canadian Spider-Man's here. Hello.
Hi, Canadian Spider-Man.
Hey, Canadian, what's up?
Wait, did someone say hi to Scotty in the chat? Is he
here?
Where is he? I didn't see him.
Spider-Man did.
Oh, cool.
He's not here.
He probably just said it as figuring Scotty was here. But...
No, I have to take issue.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I was looking. Hello, Tim Stock.
I have to take issue with Scotty R37 not being here. That's no excuse about losing.
Well, he's got no power.
Yeah, that's no excuse. He's got a phone. So get here on your phone, which runs by battery power.
Oh, he's very proud of his broadcasting, and he wouldn't be happy hearing himself not sound good.
Oh, okay. Well, then
I agree.
I'd take back what I said. Then I understand perfectly.
I wouldn't want to do it either.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you guys are true professionals.
Well, we try. And speaking of Claudia and Raquel from earlier, well, I was speaking of it anyway. They were lamenting about the trouble you can get when you have a stunted story, when you don't marry the A and B plots properly. I'm not saying this story doesn't marry the A and B plots. They're very integral to each other, so they have that right. But they were asking the other night if there's any 2S episode with an A and B plot. Do you think this is one? Because they have the A plot having to deal with the threat of the computer lady trying to kill them, and the B plot of Scotty keeping the ship from blowing up.
Yeah, I would consider it an A-B plot. That's very well integrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I'll also make some references to These Are the Voyages by Mark Cushman, because there's some good stuff in there. And even though these slides go out of order, I want to talk about different parts of these episodes. So you don't have to talk about, like, if you don't see it on the screen, you can still talk about it. But I will give you the preview from the book. That 365, That Which Survives.
I'll be honest.
And
I'm
Mhm.
sorry. Thinking
that's
back
okay.
after watching it, I don't understand really why it had to be a moon. I mean, what was the purpose of it being
I think it
so
was a
much?
planet the size of a moon.
Right, but why did it have to be the size of a moon? Why did that change anything? Wouldn't it have just been
Well,
easier to just be a planet?
skipping ahead, they do decide later, oh hey, this thing is impossible as a actual planet. And so they come to find out it's artificial.
Yeah, it's an artificial world, so that's why it's would be categorized as a planetoid. So that's simply because of the engineering involved by the alien race.
So I just want to read the summary from the 365 book. Intrigued by the highly enigmatic readings the ship's sensors are receiving from the planet below, Kirk, McCoy, Sulu, and geologist Lieutenant D'Amato step into the transporter and prepare to beam down. But as they are dematerializing, a beautiful woman appears and kills the transporter operator. By the time the landing party materializes below, the Enterprise is no longer in orbit above them. The ship has been hurtled nearly 1,000 light years from its previous location. To make matters worse, for Kirk's group, the mysterious woman appears on the planet and kills D'Amato with a touch of her hand. Back on the Enterprise, Spock attempts to plot a course back to the planet, but the same deadly female returns to the ship and kills one of Scotty's engineers in an attempt to sabotage the Enterprise's return to her world. And so that's the summary. And
Yep.
thanks everybody in the chat for choosing to listen today. It means so much to me that you want to talk about Star Trek with me.
Yeah, that's the one issue I had with the alien technology. It's like, all right, how is Lucira appearing on this Enterprise when it's so far away? It's like, wait
Well,
a
they
minute.
have quite the projection
Yeah.
transporter technology.
Now,
I
your
guess this is where
yeah, your
Oh.
365 summary said 1,000 light years. I thought it was 100 light years in the
it was
episode.
like 900 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 1,000.
Okay, thank you.
Like 990.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
that's right.
Thor put
Let's
it in
be
the chat
precise.
earlier.
900 and whatever 0.7 or
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
Mikey Sue. He knows.
Right. So that 990.7 light
Yep.
years.
990. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That Which Survived first aired on January 24th, 1969. It has a story by credit for Michael Richards, which is really DC Fontana, but she was kind of not happy with what happened
Wait
to
a
her
minute, Michael
story.
Richards. That's Kramer. No.
No.
Yeah, it's that's her pseudonym, and it's her two brothers, Michael and Richard. So she just combined them.
Yeah, I got something from the 365 book about that.
Excellent.
At the beginning of Star Trek's third season, many of the original creative staff members moved on to other projects. Perceived indifference from the broadcast network's executives and a difference in management style between the bosses at Desilu and those at Paramount prompted Herb Solo to depart. Writer Gene L. Kuhn, whose clever ideas had contributed so much to the series, had also left. Stalwart co-producer Robert Justman, who had been with the show since the beginning, abandoned ship halfway through the third season. Even creator Gene Roddenberry removed himself from hands-on involvement with the show. He created although he held on to the title of executive producer. Under new, less attentive management, the series floundered. Although she'd given up the position of story editor at the end of season 2, DC Fontana did her best to work under adverse circumstances, penning 3 stories for season 3, but even that proved too close for comfort. I didn't like the way the 3rd season was going, Fontana said, and I just wanted to get away. I left several stories that someone else wrote the scripts for. Only one, the Enterprise incident, would appear under her actual name. She removed her name from That Which Survives and The Way to Eden, substituting Michael Richards, a combination of the first names of her 2 brothers, as her non-diplome. So yeah, she was frustrated with how this story was written compared to the one that she made. And so I really wish we could have seen what she would have scripted.
There was still quite a few problems with her teleplay because Roddenberry had a lot of notes. And so did
for sure.
And so did Justman. I mean, they had to work some things out.
That's the thing, is that's the magic of Star Trek, is those people working together to figure this out. But since she didn't write the teleplay, how much of their notes really made it into the script?
Yeah, that's only Mark Cushman knows, because he had access to all that.
Go.
Well, I watched it once, said Dorothy Fontana. I thought Lee Merriweather was quite nice, but it really wasn't my story by the time they got through with it. So I just said, well, okay, I got paid, and I'll get residuals, and that's fine, and I'm out of here. So in the original story, the image of Lucera, in the story outline, that's not even DC Fontana. I thought in DC Fontana's original script, it didn't have Lucera at all.
Yeah, it didn't have her at all.
Yeah.
It was the AI was creating duplicates of the landing party. And
that would have been scarier, kind of, really.
But
wow.
Well, no, it's just, the notes are saying, well, we've already done that in Shore Leave, and we've already had duplicates too many other times with, like The Enemy Within, and
I suppose.
help me with others. There's others where there's duplicates, but what are little girls made of? And so they just said, no, let's not do the duplicate. Because McCoy was going to be taken away and replaced by a duplicate, and that duplicate was going to be the one that was killing the other, and I thought, nah, I'd rather have this incredibly beautiful woman played by Lee Merriweather.
Well, it's a horror story either way.
Yeah, it's here we are, deadlier than the male. It's like
at the end,
just by her touch.
At the end of the episode, we learn that this woman happened to be the last survivor.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder what would have happened had a guy been the last survivor. Wouldn't have been so interesting if it was a guy coming.
Well, of course.
Each one says, "I'm for you."
Yeah.
I just need to touch you.
It's like, uh-oh.
Except maybe Sulu.
I'm getting
right.
Yeah.
The whole point of it being a woman is that it's someone who's comforting you. Like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. And then you're dead. But if it's a guy doing that, you're never comforted.
Yeah. She's the entire end about
she's a siren. A deadly siren. Yeah, I'm not.
It was directed by Herb Wallerstein. Oh, and they're doing an Earthquake.
Yep.
Earthquake
going on.
Yeah.
Also, Franco Walker said something about why did Dr. McCoy beam down to the planet? Well, as we all know, the captain of the starship assigns whoever he feels fit to beam down with him on the landing party.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird that they bring Sulu, but not Spock, who's, the science officer. This is a heavy science mission. And it makes sense they have the geologist.
Right.
Yeah, but Sulu is also the botanist.
Right.
True. That's true.
Mhm.
But
And-
I do know that in the original script there was supposed to be a big thing with Chekhov, but
Yeah.
Chekhov couldn't be here.
Yeah, and
Or-
Kirk.
I don't know why they cut him out. Why did they cut Chekhov out?
He
Huh?
was he had another thing going. He had another
Yeah,
gig.
that's what it is. Hello, Dalek451. And yeah, he's here. Dalek started streaming again. He had his first stream of the year.
I was really
So-
impressed with the way the planet was moving during the earthquake.
Yeah,
Honestly, I like, wow.
very shaky.
The set was on rockers.
Yeah, rockers and springs.
Yeah.
Tim
That's
says his problem with the year 1969 is they didn't say what type of cheese the moon was made out.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah,
for crying
right.
out loud.
The rockers and things. Yeah, that was created by Matt Jeffries.
The great Matt Jeffries.
Mhm. Yeah. And I'm just looking through the chat to see who's here. Melvin Deeply's here. Hello, Melvin Deeply. And also, let's see, Pop Culture Curator says hello. Great to see you.
Hello, Pop.
Safe travels.
Yes,
Sulu would
indeed.
be screaming, "Oh my," throughout the episode if it was a guy surviving guy be a Bird of Prey 5.
Yeah.
I'm not touching that one.
Understood.
Yeah.
Most logical, Commodore.
You got it.
Yeah, and so I have several notes about this in my notes here. They took the fun aspect of Spock where he reports something, he makes it more precise, but now he's beginning to demand the entire crew do that.
Yeah, he's
What?
truly a dick in this episode. And then for some in joke, he has that crazy controller from Spock's brain. It serves no function except for some kind of visual gag.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah, what's he
calculator. He
playing
doesn't
with?
need a
Yeah, and he's
calculator.
pushing buttons, and there's no screen. There's no readout, I should say, on the thing, and he's just randomly pushing buttons, and it makes no sense. And I'm not sure whose idea that is. If it was Nimoy's, it's like, what are you doing? You're overindulgent nonsense.
Well,
His hands busy.
And you're right, Jill. He doesn't need a quote calculator unquote or whatever we want to call that thing.
Why? What is it? Why? What is it, Jim?
A planet even Spock can't explain.
you can also think of it as a small pad. Yeah, he's pushing buttons, but it might be feeding into the main computer as well for the analysis.
Yeah, they just don't explain it, so we just have to
Guess
guess at it, and that's the best one, Commodore.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's some lovely headcanon. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so we meet the doomed geologist, Giamato, here.
Oh, poor Giamato.
So he's played by Arthur, but Batnides? No, that's not how you say it. But
Yeah, it's a difficult name to pronounce.
Hold on. Let me see how to pronounce this.
Yeah, he gets killed off in the Outer Limits episode, The Invisible Enemy. I think that's the one he was in.
Batanides.
Batnides. Okay, that was
There
right.
you go.
Arthur Batnides. He's an
laughed
old
out
friend
loud.
of Fred Freiberger. Yeah, what made you laugh?
Fred Freiberger brain.
that.
The
Damn.
quote you've got paused where Spock says whatever he said, whatever part of his head seems to impacted with the arm of his
I feel
chair.
like somebody watched this episode and got like the idea for Data, because that feels like a Data joke.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
he's just
Uhura asks, "What happens?"
yeah.
And Spock's like, "The obtuse whatever of my head
Occipital.
seems to have, yeah, there you go, seems to have hit the arm of the chair." And Uhura's like, "No, Spock, not
Yeah,
that."
he's super type A, super literal, and it's very it's just so annoying. and it's like
super.
it's like yeah. Go ahead.
Spock, super logic, Spock.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
and, you know, to an obscene level.
Yeah, like this would have been like earliest Spock.
Yeah,
This would have been fine in season 1,
exactly.
but
Yeah, exactly.
kinda
Like
weird in season 3.
before Galileo 7, this might have made some
Oh,
sense.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point, Jill. It fits in with Galileo 7 Spock very, very well.
Yeah.
Where he's still
But
learning, he's
yeah,
still
where he's still learning the value of the
yeah.
humanity of his crew members. But
Yeah.
by now he should know what's going on.
Oh, yeah. This is like you said earlier in the stream here, he's several steps back for his
Um,
character.
Bat Knights also said it was a delight to play a good guy for once. I'm talking about the geologist.
Yeah.
He says, I was getting tired of being typecast as a heavy, and Star Trek was a nice change. I liked the series as a viewer. It was a damn good show.
Yeah, it's
got to
just
do what the Vulcans got to do.
it's D'Amato says twice, "I'm not afraid." And it's like, what are you talking about? You saw her kill the transporter technician.
Mhm.
I like how both Sulu and D'Amato are like, "Hey, you're the woman that was in the transporter room." It's like, how could you forget this striking brunette in the sexy outfit? It's like it takes them, how long to finally recognize her. It's like it would be, hey, immediately. It's like, wait a minute, I don't want you touching me at all.
Well, it's kind of weird is that she kills the transporter chief, but she's also like, don't go. Like she's like, don't go to the planet. Like she's warning them at the same time.
Yeah, it's
So
that inner conflict. That's the first hint of
but
that.
you don't know. Yeah, like you don't know that about the inner conflict until the last 15 minutes of the episode.
No,
So it just
no, I disagree. I mean, the literal explanation.
the literal. Well, okay, you can
the
see it in
the
her performance.
well, let me finish. The point blank explanation, but we see that she's conflicted in the, especially when that dialogue between her and Kirk,
And
and she says killing it.
At what time during the episode does that show up? Is that not the last 15 minutes?
I'm sorry, Spock. I did not have a stopwatch.
Because I do remember that scene, but it feels like the episode's almost over by the time we get there.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a mystery. I don't mind things not being fully explained. It's I don't need to have the teleplay spoon feeding me.
No, I don't necessarily want it to spoon feed me. I just want something to think about, and I know that there's lots of fun scientific investigations and everything going on, but I would have liked more from her.
Yeah.
Like
That's okay.
her acting is great, but I want to hear more.
Okay. No problem. Don't listen to the grumpy kitty.
No, you can. No, I'm sure pop culture agrees with you. Like this is the kind of thing that he likes. He likes this kind. I think I'm speaking for him, but I've streamed with him enough to know that he'd be on your side, I think. Last Son of K says no budget in season 3. I like Bat and Eyes better, says Alan Traslater. And Wes Cagle with the member message. He's been a member for 3 months. He says, thanks for all the great streams. It's always fun.
Most definitely.
And Claude Parrish says, that's Sheldon Cooper Spock.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh man, I haven't watched that show in a long time. I don't. Mikey says Spock was very condescending in this entire episode. Dang emotionless.
Yeah,
if you ask me.
Yeah, it's surprising that Nimoy just went with the flow and act. It's like certainly he would have said, "Well, this is inconsistent with
how my character,
yeah, how it's grown," and it's like all the crew are like, "Oh, Kirk, don't go on a landing party. Don't leave us with Spock in command, please.
Well, a Vulcan's got to do what a Vulcan's
Vulcan's got to do.
Well, the problem is that he suppresses his emotions, but he knows about them. He knows they exist in other people and how they work. In fact, because he suppresses them, he understands them very deeply, and so he would understand his crew.
Yeah, especially by this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hello to Brogu. Wes Cagle says she was trying to warn them not to go, and then has to kill them once they do contain the virus. But that doesn't explain why she needed to kill the transporter operator. Well, they're all invaders. If she can transport them, I'm jumping ahead to my.
Well, with Wes
transport them.
With Wes Cagle, I know this is extra diegetic stuff, but it's to kickstart the episode with something exciting. It's like, oh my goodness, who is this woman? And she killed a crew member right in the middle of the beam down for the landing party. And it's like, what's going to happen next? So it's just a way to get the teaser off to a, warp 7 start.
Oh, what thing I didn't notice the whole episode, but this is one of the gripes that Gene Roddenberry had, was that they didn't use a wind machine so that the planet didn't come alive in terms of having the wind blow through the plants and everything. So I don't know. It's just a still day. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. And also nothing irritating to fly into the eyes of the actors.
Mikey Seuss4 says McCoy said that every cell in Diamato's body was blasted away. Right. He says disintegrated. I need a medical explanation stat. That is kind of outrageous. Disintegrated. Oh dear.
All from a single touch.
Mm-hmm.
From a extremely beautiful woman.
That's quite a weapon. That's quite a weapon.
Yes, women are deadlier than the male.
The people who die by touch, at least they died happy.
Well, the
right.
the engineering officer, the way he dies off screen, but we hear him, he just, that sounded really horrible. So I don't think he died happy.
Well, if you had all your cells bursting inside you, you're going to feel pain like crazy.
Yeah. But we were discussing Diamato earlier. And but that's true.
Yeah, she says, I'm for you. And he's like, lucky Diamato. Well, he thinks he's lucky at that point. But he does have a special geological tricorder. It, instead of tape discs, it has a glowing white panel.
Yep.
So it's a little different. It's fun. Franco says, if every cell had exploded from within, wouldn't they turn to goo? The entire body.
Yeah, good point. But we can't have any graphic stuff on screen.
Yeah, exactly, because they wouldn't have the bone structure anymore.
Now the original the original outline that Dorothy Fontana wrote up, she had the crewmen on the planet being torn limb from limb. And it's like, what? You can't show that. And so that immediately they changed that. You got rid of that.
Yeah, it was a little more graphic. She had a stronger story, I'm sure. I wonder what would have happened differently. And so I have this clip.
You must not go.
The Enterprise, it's gone.
And so Sulu, yeah, okay. So where am I here? Sulu says, wait, the stars are wrong. The stars are wrong. The stars have changed. So we're learning from Rada, Lieutenant Rada,
Yeah.
that the stars have changed. And she verifies her findings by playing a recording. And aside from saying the computer did it, they never really explain exactly how this thing throws them 990 light years
And also
away.
how they didn't realize it until later. Like there was no sensation. There was no,
Mhm.
you know, it took
It took her
the helm.
science work.
Is it Rada? Is that
Rada? Yes.
Yeah, Lieutenant Rada. It took her noticing the change in the stars, and it's like, oh, they didn't feel anything. There was nothing, you know. It's like, how was this accomplished? That's
Well,
quite a
we just
computer, you know, down there
yeah,
on that planet.
and the only visual we get is the whole ship is covered in white, and then we see something happen, and at this point we learn what happened.
Well, that's the remastered effects.
Oh, that's a remaster. Well, see, that is a good addition, I think, because at least
Yeah,
that's some kind of visual cue.
yeah,
Cellular disruption.
Yeah.
So we get to see Mbenga again. And so he's just reporting on the cause of death. Booker Bradshaw returns as Dr. Mbenga. He had last been seen in a private little war. This would be his only other appearance in the original series. Bradshaw didn't mind saying, I like Star Trek as a series, but truth be told, I hated the role. I was tired of playing doctors. I didn't even like the name Mbenga. Interesting. Well, it's good. It's good to hear honesty.
yeah. I thought he did a fine job.
I did too. He did wonderful. Considering he didn't like the role, he did great.
Yeah.
Though I wish they gave him more in this episode because he's given a disease and he never has to cure it. Or at least he doesn't do it on screen. And maybe he and McCoy work on it later. Because apparently there are at least 3 doctors on the Enterprise.
Yeah, that's true.
So let me see if I missed anything. Oh yeah, there was a part written for Walter Koenig, but he's not seen here. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, he was doing a stage production somewhere else. Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
the only time that Kirk has a dickish line
he does.
is when he Sulu's talking about the Tunguska incident, and Kirk just, if I wanted a Russian history, you know, I would have had Chekhov come down here. It's like, come on, that's unnecessary.
It is unnecessary because that's part of their job is to make conjectures and try to figure out the mystery, try to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and Kirk, that's the only time. Everything else, he's really good. His performance is really good, except for that line. It just sticks out like a sore thumb. It's like they should have struck that line or done something different. I don't know.
I don't know. If I was Walter, I would have been happy that at least my character's name came up, even if I wasn't in the episode.
Oh yeah,
that's true. He did get a shout out. I get that they need food and water, but like you're saying, Stone Racket, he's a scientist. I know you need to survive when you need to survive in space, you got to focus on your job. But he's also the captain. Kirk is the captain, and she should at least acknowledge the emotional effects that might occur if you think your ship just exploded.
Yeah,
it's not like anyone's freaking out over it anyway. So I don't see the
I
issue
love how
with coming up with hypotheses.
I love how George Takei says that line. You know, the Enterprise, it's gone. You know, it's like
the Enterprise, it's gone.
Yeah, it's.
I was a little surprised.
Sulu, if I'd wanted a Russian history lesson,
Ah!
brought along Mr. Chekhov.
Yeah, Captain, you're a dick.
Surprised how quickly Kirk turned to food rather than water, since water is vastly more important than
Yes,
food.
that's a very good point. He should have been.
Yeah.
Water is top priority.
He actually said food first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
which
that's
is
right. He had
a
it
big
backwards.
no-no. Yeah.
hmm
Those damn writers.
And so, that Russian history lesson is that Sulu was talking about the Tunguska
Yep.
event.
1908. I think
Yeah.
1908.
That sounds well. That's a good
That's
question.
right. It's around that.
Yeah, it's around that time. It's just the theory is a comet exploded.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yes, June 30th, 1908. Very
Yeah.
good. Well done.
Just incredible devastation.
It flattened more than 80 million trees in seconds.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, if that were to happen again, they would think someone had dropped a nuclear bomb.
But the mystery of that is that there were no fragments of this mystery comet or asteroid.
Yeah.
And so, woo. And there you go. And so the Enterprise crew is trying to figure out what happened. Even though there's no damage, everything's just fine. They've just been transported. And Wyatt is dead, and they don't know why. Except that his cells have... What did they do again?
Exploded from within.
They exploded from within.
You would think that if you had a crewman down, you would go to yellow alert.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a really good point, Commodore.
Mm-hmm.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
It seems like in season 3 they forget about yellow alert and red alert. I mean, I think they do red alert sometimes, but they did standby alert a couple episodes ago, as if people don't know what's going on.
Damn writers.
So I don't know, 900 light years. That still gets me, because it's not like this is the godlike alien. This is a computer.
Yeah, it's just it's asking a little too much there. I admit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I give it a B because it's like, what? This isn't,
Okay, and
Charlie X or...
This is another one of those lines that I don't like from Spock.
Your statement is not only illogical, but also unworthy of refutation.
He's a book.
No, I know. But his next statement makes the previous statement redundant. He's already talking about it's illogical to assume that any explosion could have hurled us a distance of 990.7 light years, which does a beautiful job of saying Scotty's reaction is kind of illogical. And here is my agreement with you, Scotty. And I think that is something Spock would say, that second sentence. But the first sentence is kind of redundant and unnecessary. Is just saying like, oh, you're not even worth arguing with. That's not something Spock would say.
Yeah, Commodore, that's your cue.
A Vulcan's got to do what a Vulcan's got to do.
That's a good one, but damn writers.
I messed it up. My damn you damn writing team over here. You got to give me the right stuff. Guys over here.
No, but I'm still having a good time. At the same time, I'm still enjoying the episode. It's a weird mixed feeling that I have about this one.
Yeah, this is one of the few episodes I saw when it aired, and I was totally enthralled.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we get to the warp 14.1 to be precise.
Oh, right. So somebody tell that to Tom Paris from Voyager, that they're going to that going past the warp 10 doesn't make you go everywhere all at once.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous.
Damn writers.
I'm not exactly I'm going to talk about Threshold, but it just came up in my brain. I couldn't help it.
Yeah. I didn't see that particular episode, but you discussed that in one of your earlier streams, and it's like, how about Warp 17 makes it do all that crazy stuff?
Warp 17.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you go to
Yeah,
Warp,
yeah.
it might
That
blow
would
up.
have been cool.
Yeah, that's right.
The ship is only built for so much warp speed. You got to remember that.
Yeah, but of course the Voyager takes place how many? Oh, it's over 100 years.
Yeah, yeah. It is later. So warp travel has changed quite a bit by then, and so the
Yeah.
speeds are different, things are different. So I can
I have
sort
to
of,
point
but
out
whatever.
Now, if they had built their starships out of Krell metal, it'd be impervious. It's
There you go.
TNG time, warp 10 is infinite speed. It's not here, obviously. So there can't, warp 10 isn't a barrier in threshold at the time of Voyager. Warp 10 is literally infinite speed. You can't reach it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't break it. The best you could do is reach it. And if you reach
Mhm.
warp 10, then
It's
you're
like this
everywhere.
everywhere all at once. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's terrible writing
It
from
is. Okay, good.
Voyager because they think of it as a barrier, like the
Mhm.
sound
Like
barrier.
the speed of light.
Yeah, or the speed of light. And it was never that. It's literally infinity. So you can't break infinity.
Damn fracking
Yeah.
fighters.
Well, and that's why the warp speed calculators on the internet are so weird.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see what the chat's up to. This was the only episode where the enemy was defeated by doing the hokey pokey. And spin yourself around.
Yeah,
That's
that was a bit easy.
Oh, oh, you know what? For a second, I was wondering what you're talking about, but you're right. They do a little dance to,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like you protect me, and then you protect me.
But the computer gets smart, then it becomes 3 Luciras.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
Mhm.
Now what do we do?
Uh-oh.
We really got to
no.
dance fast. Gentlemen, in a circle.
They start to form a conga line. Yeah. Or uh-oh.
And no, Franco, they didn't go to Plaid. It'd been funny they did.
Oh, Ariba Vels here. Hey, hello. He says from Wiki, the Tunguska event was a 3 to 5 megaton explosion that occurred near, oh dear, the Podkamana Tunguska River in Yenisek. Oh, right. Okay. Now the entire world knows I can't read. Russia on the morning of June 30th, 1908. And Franco says, it's as if everyone just gave up on this episode and said, what the hell? Let's just get this over with. Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Last few minutes.
Yeah, it's lazy third season stuff, but I blame Fred Friedberger brain.
Well, yeah, right. And if he can make a shortcut and get it under budget, that's a success for him.
Nope.
But I do like Kirk delegating. That's still good.
Yeah, Kirk is really good, or I should say Shatner is really good at playing Kirk in this episode. And he's except for that one line, he's well written. Like a door opening and then it closed.
Like, yeah, like what is that? Is that just a detection of the transporting effect that she does her disappearing act?
Yes. When she appears or disappears.
And okay. Like, but I guess it registers different than a transporter because they wouldn't be freaking out about it.
I love how she's in partial shadow. It's just do not be afraid. It's like warning. She's in shadow. Be afraid.
Danger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the tricorder probably register as door opening and closing.
Mm-hmm. You're the woman on the Enterprise. The killer woman.
Don't be afraid. I'm not afraid. You dumb.
Yeah, it's like, you dummy.
You're gonna die. You're dead.
Should
And
be.
with Sulu, he immediately shouts for Captain. He does everything right.
Yeah, he does. He
You
does.
know, he fires
And
his
that's why,
phaser. Unfortunately, he trips, but that ends up saving him.
well, yeah, that's why he lives.
Yes.
Even the geologist that claims to be not afraid definitely takes a step back as she moves closer to him.
So I missed this part of the episode earlier.
I'll sit on the warp engines myself and nurse them.
I know he means like a mama bird sitting on eggs, but my brain was instantly like, that's not how I nurse my baby. But okay. And then Spock has his joke.
Yeah.
Mr. Scott.
Do you have that?
Yeah, no, I don't. He says that position, Mr. Scott, would not only be unavailing but also undignified.
That is a perfect Spock line.
Yep.
I like that. That's and then
Yeah, at least that one's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna make Spock do something, it's gotta actually be humorous. But I don't know. It does feel it's fine. The actor for the geologist, he was always looking down, and that almost bothered me. But then I realized, wait, that behavior makes sense. He's a geologist looking at the ground. So, oh yeah, the thing with the vegetation, it doesn't really come up ever again because they're not stuck on the planet and dying. But the plant vegetation is poisonous, and they can't find the water because, of course, the planet's hollow. We find that out later. And so Stulu's getting a reading off the scale. He also has the door opening and closing again. And Diamato is okay. So now I'm catching up. This is the last episode of the original series. Well, okay. Is this the last time we see red shirts die? Because that might be broadcast order information. Is this true in production order? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So we're gonna find out.
That's a good question.
So we will find out soon. So I have to thank Matt G. Thank you so much, Matt G. He tipped $1. When you're done with the original series, you should cover all the Mission Impossible episodes with Spock. Nimoy should have released a book. I am not Paris.
Yes. His character from Mission Impossible. The Amazing Paris.
Thank you, Matt G. I appreciate any suggestions for the channel, although I will be covering I Want to Watch For All Mankind next. But that's a possibility for Fridays. Anything can happen on a Friday. And so I'll put that down for later. Definitely. Herc 130's here. Hey, Herc 130. Wonderful to see you. Jim. Your name is Jim.
Herc 130 is here. We got a stream.
Oh.
I like that Star Trek 3 reference. But he's saying that to
me,
to you, Commodore. Your name is Jim.
Yeah.
So Lee Merriweather was
awesome.
Former Miss America. And so if you can't tell from that picture, I have another picture.
There she is. And she has the honor of being not only Miss America, but she was on the very first Miss America contest televised. So
yes, in 1954.
Yes, in 54.
And so from that, she got a lot of TV stuff. She was in The Young Marrieds, Time Tunnel.
Yep, as Anne McGregor.
Oh, Pop Culture Curator talks about that a lot. I still haven't seen it. And of course, she also played Catwoman in the big
The
screen version of
You
that.
got it.
And so she says, one of my daughters said, Mom, if you're in television, why aren't you on Star Trek? They were old enough to be in school and interacting with the other kids. Kyle was 8, Leslie was 5, and someone at school said, the most popular show on TV right now. That's the most popular show on TV right now. They wanted to show off to their peers, so they came home and asked me. Then someone called. Joe D'Agosta, maybe. A wonderful man, and I was offered the part. It was a surprise, and I didn't have to read for it. I didn't even understand why they wanted me. And Meriwether also said, so Mark Cushman got interviews from her for this book. So these are interviews just in this book. The one thing that came through when I was reading scripts was that the description that she hates killing. When she was alive, she abhorred killing, but now she must kill because the computer is using her as a method of protecting the borders and repelling intruders. And I thought, how in the world am I going to play a computerized image with a soul peeking through? How much of her is there? How much of her life is there? And how much is the computer taking over and killing? I knew it was going to be hard playing that.
Yeah, I think she did an excellent job.
Mm-hmm.
And the director, if you read on, the director was no help, but she was like, well, you know, how am I doing? You always say, oh, you're fine. You're doing fine. Don't worry about it. You know, but she was worried about it. She wasn't sure how she was coming across. I thought she did an excellent job.
Definitely.
Yes, she did.
Now, I'm not really into eyeshadow, but I really like the eyeshadow, the makeup on her.
Yeah.
And her hair.
I'm not really into it either.
But I like it just really pops on the Blu-ray, you know, it's just.
Well, she is supposed to be alien, so I don't mind. Oh, she also says, am I going to have sparkly things come from my fingers when I touch my victims? They didn't do that. It was more technical than anything psychological. I finally asked the director, am I giving you what you need? And he said, yes. Oh, yes. I see the pain. And she says, oh, good. But I was thinking to myself, that's not exactly what I meant. I suppose he was saying that it was right for it to be painful for me. Painful to kill these people. That pain was a good emotion to show. Herb Wallerstein, oh my gosh, nice man. But I would beg him sometimes for another take, and he would just say, Lee, you did it just right. And so we're digging a grave for poor Diamato.
With a phaser.
With the phaser. Well, it should be digging 6 feet under.
I guess that's a setting we've never seen before.
Right. Grave digging setting.
Out, yeah.
Just a perfect amount. But
yeah, we don't have Gary Mitchell to dig it instantaneously.
There you go.
Right. But it doesn't work because the rocks are able to withstand the heat.
Now, what's interesting is it Sulu that says that's the same red rock? It's like, well, wait a minute. When did they talk about red rock before?
They didn't.
You know, so it's like, oh, we got a cut line or two there, and or a scene.
I was wondering if somebody was going to explain that. Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, so it's something that they've, you know, that they caught, you know, examined with the tricorder or something that came back that was cut out of the script, or either the scene was cut. So I don't know. The Cushman book doesn't really elaborate on that great a detail. So
no. So I appreciate you bringing up the question. Thank you.
Now he says it looks like igneous rock. It looks more like paper mache rock. No, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Well, it probably is.
Yeah, I know. I'm just, you know.
Well, at least the one thing I'll give this episode over Star Trek Generations that comes later is that this is a good reason to bury someone under rocks, is just because you can't dig into the ground.
Yeah.
Although, hopefully they don't show it, but hopefully they took him home at the end. They took him back.
Yeah, we can our headcanon can write
Yeah,
that.
I have to headcanon that. So,
Yeah. Poor
because
Diamato.
it's not in there. Yes, Diamato needs to go back to his family.
Yeah.
Buried in rocks, just like Captain Kirk was.
Yeah, exactly. And that
I refuse to accept that.
Yeah.
there are a lot of
Generations
people
does
like
not
that.
exist.
Right.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who refuse to accept that happened to Captain Kirk, and that Captain Kirk would die on the bridge, not under a bridge.
There, yes. And I explained earlier in another stream, my younger sister refuses to watch Generations because she doesn't want to see Captain Kirk die.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a big Kirk fan.
Mm-hmm. And that's fair enough. There are so many deaths in that. The Duras sisters, the Enterprise D. At least Spot doesn't die though. Claude says she wore the Miss American crown until next year when she fought and killed her next opponent.
Damn.
That's great. Thank you, Claude.
I am for you. I'm touching you.
Now, I'm not familiar with this Claude Parrish. I don't think
I met him. I've seen him on the Clobburn Times chat. So
okay, because just comedy gold, Claude. Keep it up.
JD Lewis says, "Happy Tuesday, everybody. I am for all of you."
Oh no. All of our cells are going to explode.
Lee Merriweather was on TV series Barnaby Jones for 8 years.
8 years.
With Andy Griffith, says Mikey.
No, right? That was with Buddy Epson. Buddy Epson went from 9 years on Beverly Hillbillies, and then just a few years later, he had another hit show, Barnaby Jones, for 8. So he was lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Lucky ducky.
Yeah, they tried. It was Griff with Lorne Green, and then they did Brock with. Oh, now my memory is failing me.
What?
With Jack Palance, and you know, an older detective, and then they finally got it right with Buddy Epson with Barnaby Jones.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to go back to the episode. Action Com says Scotty would know the feel of the ship, wouldn't he? Yes, and I
Most
think that
definitely
Spock would trust him, and he wouldn't have dismissed him the way he does in this episode.
Yeah, he comes around though. He comes around.
He does come around. It's true. Yeah. He does. So this is the one moment where it's not as bad because he does see their ways, but I don't think he would have gotten there to begin with. What is this? Oh yeah, I didn't show this one.
I am only for Diamato.
Spock here.
Mr. Spock, the ship feels wrong.
The ship feels wrong.
And Scotty would know.
Feels?
Most definitely.
Feels?
But the thing is, yeah.
He feels it in his bones.
It is part of Spock's character to point out the foibles of being emotional, but he also wouldn't dismiss human feelings out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think. Because even though he doesn't feel the emotions, he understands them.
Most astute. And I wish, well, I'll go ahead and say it, Commodore. Damn writers.
Well, okay. Well, the writer I like the writer. He's a great producer, a great director. But the only good episode he wrote, the best episode he wrote anyway, was The Changeling. So it's John Meredith Lucas, but I don't know how much interference from, Freiberger and Arthur Singer and the rest of the people
because they had their hands on it in those final pages that were given to the cast.
Because I like John Meredith Lucas. He did a really good job in season 2 as showrunner, and so I know I'm a little. I don't want to get mad at him too much.
Yeah, it's like I said, that fried burger brain, Freiburger.
Well, there you go. It's Freiburger.
Yeah, and he in the Cushman book, he was interviewed and he badmouthed Dorothy Fontana, said that she just ran off to Hawaii. That was so unprofessional. It's like, and then Robert Justman goes, no. When Dorothy was given an assignment, she turned it in exactly when she said she was going to, and she just wanted out, you know. And he's coloring. Yeah, Freiberger's just coloring the situation in his favor, so it's apocryphal. From I would be suspicious with everything he said.
Fair enough. Definitely.
The Horta is mentioned. Yay.
Oh yes, I got it. Here it is.
You remember on Janus 6, the silica.
That's great. Another great line from Sulu.
Well, it is nice to think about my favorite Star Trek episode.
Was that your top favorite?
Yeah, Devil in the Dark is my favorite so far. I mean, I don't foresee a season 3 episode topping Devil in the Dark. So
yeah, did you know
it's my favorite?
Did you know that that's also William Shatner's favorite episode?
Really? No, I didn't.
You haven't read Star Trek Memories?
No, I haven't read everything Shatner wrote. I kind of read more of the recent books he's written.
Yeah, I highly recommend his Star Trek Memories and his Star Trek movie Memories.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason it's his favorite show is how everyone treated him. During the production of that particular episode, his father passed away.
Oh, yes,
and
how then that makes sense.
And how people, including Nimoy, everyone supported him.
I do remember that. That was part of my live stream. We did talk about the passing of his dad and how that played into his performance, and how Nimoy helped with that. And so their friendship was real.
Yes, it was.
But going back to this episode, Scotty is trying to track down his feelings. Fortunately, I'm glad he's working on that. He asks. So I was so excited to meet a new engineer doing his job.
Yeah, but poor Watkins.
Poor Watkins.
Oh,
I liked seeing him here.
Yeah.
Watkins is played by Kenneth Washington, and he's going to be killed by Losira. The actor was 22, and he was in 8 episodes of Adam 12 as Officer Miller.
Interesting.
And he played Ivan Dixon on the last season of Hogan's Heroes. His name was Sergeant Baker in that show. But don't get too attached.
Yeah. Yeah, his death bothered me when I first saw this as a child.
It does, because I really like him as an officer. Like, he's really cool.
Both him and D'Amato is like, oh man.
I want to see him I want him to recur like 8 more episodes.
Like, he and Scotty, he's Scotty's top man, right-hand man in engineering,
No, I was watching this last night and said, no, Watkins, run.
Yeah, just keep it on this still for 5 minutes. She's so gorgeous.
But before he dies, he does cry out. He warns of the intruder to Scott. So right to the end, I really love the character. He's doing his duty, warning his crewmates of the danger.
Exactly.
She knows everything about the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she learns quickly, doesn't she?
She does.
But of course, it's a computer generated entity.
And this room has reused pieces of the Yanada control room from The World is Hollow, and for The World is Hollow, and I have touched the sky.
The longest Star Trek episode title.
Yeah, 11 words. The control panel was reused from the Vian's torture chamber in the Empath.
Yeah.
So they did some
Freiburger,
creative reuse.
Freiburger pulled a Irwin Allen. Let's reuse this.
I don't mind that. I think that's
That's
fun.
okay. It's not as bad as the Irwin Allen series, but he had 4 series on the air, 3 at one time, and you saw aliens and props used over and over.
I don't mind some sea creatures showing up on Lost in Space. That's fun.
Yeah, that's fun. She's reaching out. Oh, Watkins, get out of there.
I know. Oh, and here's the first time I got a good slideshow of her disappearing act.
Yeah, her disappearing act.
Now you see me.
I love the music they always play when she does this.
You don't.
Mm-hmm.
And Lee Merriweather liked it when she saw it. She thought that was a good touch.
If I had more time, if I would have remembered, I would have clipped this because this is a fun little animation.
Yeah. That's okay, Jill.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think, and I could have done this. Oh no, I got an echo. Commodore, you've been doing so great. What's going on?
I don't hear nothing. I just yawned.
Poor Watkins.
I know. We hardly knew you.
And then immediately Spock.
Female intruder. Extremely dangerous.
Yeah. Deadlier than the male.
Sulu's greatest line. It's like if you start with a penny and double it every day, in a month, you'll be a millionaire, says Ariba Val.
That's from the second pilot, Where No Man's Gone Before.
That's the power of exponential.
You got it.
Exponentials, yes. Herc 130 says, fun fact, Lee Merriweather was such a total smoke show. I would have stabbed Batman and Robin in the back just to be one of her henchmen.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
And so, yeah, it's really great. And I'm having a good time today. The reuse sets in the Star Trek movies, says Ashcom. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah, Franco's got a point.
2 to the 31st power. There you go. And so that's he's still talking about the pennies and how they compound.
Yes, indeed.
And so, yeah, and I just like Uhura. So I always, even if she doesn't do anything, I just take a still of her.
Yeah, she's incredibly gorgeous. I wish that she had more lines, more to do.
She did have a little bit to do in this one. She was important during the scene where Scotty is saving the ship. She's important communication work being done there. And reading her panels. This place has no magnetic field. And so finally they figure out that this planet is artificial.
Jill, check the private chat.
I shall. Thanks for letting me know, because I am not even looking at that. Oh, okay. Well, actually, I'm gonna leave you here. Bird of Prey 5's gotta step out, so I'm gonna leave him on the panel. But if he comes back, I'll move him back up.
Yeah, I hope he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, there you go.
Thank you, Bird, for letting me know. Me too. And Franco wants you to remember, if you're enjoying this live stream, please subscribe, share, hit the like, and select live chat. Lee Merriweather is still alive today, says Mikey. She turns 89 this May 2024. Oh, she was young during this episode. Mm-hmm. Wow. Very cool. Okay, Sulu's taking the first watch. So Sulu's going to meet the lady soon now.
Now, due to a cut, another cut here, they didn't fully explain that that
The
tricorder
tricorder?
is a it's not a alarm for a proximity alarm there on the surface. It's like a beacon to the ship if it gets back.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't really know what was going on with that. Thank you so
Yeah, and
much.
it's in the Cushman book. It's
I had
just
to just guess. I was like, is that just to warn you if there's
yeah,
something? And
yeah.
that's what it makes you feel like.
Exactly. It makes you think, oh, in case Lucera shows up again,
Mhm.
it'll alert, but Lucera shuts it off because she doesn't want any outside help,
Yeah,
for the people there on the surface.
right, exactly.
But again, it just the way since they cut that dialogue explaining that, it makes you
Well,
think it's
it's fine anyway because Spock figures out how to find them without the
yes, indeed.
beacon.
It sends out a distress signal. That's why it turns white.
There you go. Thank you, Commodore.
You're welcome.
And that makes sense. And I don't like this either. Dang it.
Jill, you're so
Mbenga-
demanding.
I am because Mbenga says the pattern of cellular disruption was the same, but as to the cause, your guess is as good as mine. He's saying, as a scientist, this is my assertion, and my guess would be valueless. I would suggest we refrain from guessing and find some facts. Come on, yeah. At least when Spock says something unnecessary to Scotty, he follows it up with something very useful. Here, it just seems like he's just being rude to Mbenga for no reason, as
Yeah.
if he thinks Mbenga doesn't know how to be a scientist and look for clues. And I guess since the medical mystery is never really solved, beyond figuring out that the bacterium causes the death, I know that. Okay, so I know at the end they say that there were medical supplies that were needed to cure, but they don't say where those supplies are, or if the Enterprise, like even in other episodes that I don't like that much, they say for the world is hollow and I have touched the sky. They say, oh, here's the cure. It's right here in the library computer, or but they don't look for any store of knowledge or any. I don't know. I guess oh, right. They destroyed the computer, so they can't look into it. So that makes sense. Anyway, how do they heal
they
Sulu?
don't destroy the computer, they slow it down.
That's my question. That's where I'm going with this. Is
Also,
how do they heal the cells that were exploded in Sulu?
oh, well, that's a good one. Dr. McCoy's little portable medical kit just had the right ingredient there.
He just gave him a pill.
But you were
Everything
talking
he got.
about accessing the alien computer for a solution to the disease. There is no solution.
Right. They couldn't find it all.
They couldn't find it, and that's what wiped them out.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
They created some kind of virus and they just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. And the supply ship that went back, it killed everybody on the home world, which is
they made a hint to medical supplies, so I was wondering if, or I guess that was just to deal with the symptoms and not necessarily to cure.
Yeah, we have to kind of guess at that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kirk and McCoy asleep. We don't see that often.
Oh, that looks so comfortable.
It'd be hard on my back.
Now, if they're going to beam down on an unknown world, everybody should have a nice little backpack with a sleeping bag and some water and some protein bars. And well, look at that lovely hand.
True.
Let's turn this off. You don't need that.
Yeah, you don't need this.
No.
Well, and let it not be said that chivalry is dead in the 23rd century, because Sulu says,
I don't want to have to kill a woman.
Yes, indeed.
Scott, there's a strange woman knows the entire plan of the Enterprise.
I missed playing that earlier for Watkins. I had to get at least one line for him.
Yeah. Poor Watkins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the way Sulu gives her a warning shot with the phaser.
Mm-hmm.
He does, but then when he does shoot her, it doesn't have any effect.
Nope.
And so, yeah, definitely, like you said, his fall saved him from being killed because then she only touched his shoulder instead of killing him.
It's too bad the phaser didn't burn away that crazy flap covering her navel.
Now, here's the other weird thing that doesn't make any sense. So Sulu calls for Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk comes and intercepts, and that also saves Sulu.
Yes, indeed.
Calling for the captain because she can only kill one at a time.
Yeah, she's just programmed for one.
Yeah, programmed for one set of chromosomes. Like I can only kill one set of DNA at a time. I cannot kill.
You got it.
Like my ability to murder you depends on your DNA. I don't understand why.
Jill, you're demanding too much from this. It's just a TV show, Jill. It's just a TV show.
It's not real. It's just a TV show.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Move out of your parents' basements and
Galaxy Quest.
There's a whole world. No, I'm thinking about the SNL skit. Get a life.
Get a life, yeah.
That is so funny.
It is. I'm just curious. I was just wanting to know. Okay, nobody knows.
Yeah, you're right to demand things. You know, it's unfortunately it's third season syndrome of lazy writing.
Mm-hmm.
Damn writers.
Damn.
It is cool and fun.
That's never going to get old, Commodore.
I know.
I still love this effect.
Yeah, I always like that effect.
Mm-hmm.
And as to her disappearing act, Meriwether said, "There were a couple of static moves that I made when I had to get back into position and turn one-dimensional and disappear. When on the soundtrack you hear the aha, aha, I just didn't know that sound was going to come. So when I was watching, I just loved that. But when we were filming, the move was awkward for me, doing that on cue and not really understanding what it was going to look like."
Yep, even doing that, she did a great job.
She did.
She got.
I think that's kind of fun. It's kind of a fun variation on transporting.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why this is one of my favorites, even though it's not perfect. There are flaws. But, I still enjoy this episode.
I'm only pointing them out.
Yeah,
it's still a fun time.
Yeah, I understand.
Perhaps this is a ghost planet. Okay, great. Now that sentence makes sense. It didn't at the beginning. Okay, so this is the part that makes sense. What Spock does says we're going to go back to the planet because that's the only thing we can really figure out to do here. But the Enterprise, the engines go out of control because they've been sabotaged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is another thing I loved as a kid when it's the Enterprise is going faster and faster. It's like, oh dear.
The antimatter integrator has been fused, and doing such a thing takes the power of all the ship's phasers.
Mm-hmm.
And so they figure out the intruder did this. That's some fun little stuff in between. In between, instead of having a story, we get some fun technical stuff, and that's fun. Yeah. And the ship, it's just going faster and faster. It's out of control.
She's out of control.
Damn science is like God, just dripping like crazy.
Mm-hmm. And then it's going to blow up, Scott warns. Not only is that going to blow up, but our landing party are about to blow up. Except the phaser is going to overload in just a bit.
Yeah. Kirk's phaser.
Yeah, Roddenberry had an issue with that. He thought the explosion should be more dramatic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so Spock and Scotty are trying to figure out how to manually shut off the flow of fuel with the magnetic probe. So they've got to stop the fuel so the ship will stop. They got to stop the ship. It's running away.
She's out of control.
Mm-hmm.
The Enterprise is out of control.
Well, fix it.
Well, yeah, that's the idea. So one of them is going to have to go through the antimatter reaction chamber. I reversed those, but it's fine. It's a service crawl way. We're not supposed to go in there, but they do anyway.
Yeah, and they had to build that just for this episode.
Yeah, and then when Spock says he's going to do it,
you'll be killed, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're all going to be killed anyway.
Yep.
And he's like, oh yeah, okay, but let me do it. I know this ship.
Yeah, good old Scotty. He's a miracle worker.
He is.
And also parts of that set came from Troubles with Tribbles.
Oh, really? I didn't catch that.
The access?
Yes.
Access
doors.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. Cool. Thank you.
That's something Mark Cushman didn't have in his book.
No, I know. That's
damn writer.
I was thinking because I read that. No.
Yeah.
No, Mark Cushman's great. I really
No, yeah. He gets some things wrong though. It's here and there, his facts, but overall he just had so much he had access to so much stuff, and he puts so much in his books. It's a great read.
The biggest thing he had wrong was in the Gary 7 episode about the lady who played the cat.
Yeah, that he relied on the fan community, which had that wrong for years.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you're right. And Gene Roddenberry says this is unacceptable. It only has the power of a hand grenade here, it looks like, because we've established that our phasers have the power to cut through mountains.
Yeah,
but they couldn't make it too big, or our crew would be dead.
Yeah, I wish they had. Of course, with the studio, Shatner would have hit the other wall with it if he had thrown it really, really hard. But I would have had some rocks kind of blow up a little bit and some debris fall down.
That's a good idea.
Just a little more of an optical effect and a little bit of debris on set, but just a little more would work.
Yeah, just a little more drama.
Yeah.
In the explosion. Fair enough. I've positioned explosive separator charges to blast me clear of the ship if I rupture the magnetic bottle. So yeah, right. If this thing gets ruptured, then if he's jettisoned, everything will be fine. Well, except for that he'd be dead. But then, yeah. So the only way to it's a pretty scary thing. You don't want to lose your engineer, but he'd have to be lost to save everyone else from
this was quite the nail biter when I first watched this back in '69.
They do that pretty well. They do this part pretty well in terms of the clock ticking down, and the danger feeling really very real. Because of season 3, you think, somebody, even though Mr. Scott is a very important character, it's season 3. Anything can happen. Nobody knows that there are going to be movies and things. Mm.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's the show that, as I think this was in TV Guide when they were covering the phenomena of the Star Trek conventions, and they said that the show that would not die,
well, there you go.
because when this went into syndication, it was huge,
Mm-hmm.
and the top syndicated shows were I Love Lucy and The Honeymooners, and Star Trek just wiped those records out as far as ratings. And local channels learned really quickly that if they had Star Trek, they would beat their competition, even if it was network shows.
That's why as rough as season 3 is, it is so wonderful and awesome that it happened, and there's so much good stuff in it. I think some of the previous episodes were really good, and I think just now we're getting into kind of the shaky zone. And because we have season 3 is why we have Star Trek, all the rest of Star Trek.
Yep.
For the reason you say is how popular it became. So the 365 book says, once again, Star Trek's visual effects crew found a simple way to combine practical photography with the elements they could easily obtain. This is in order to place Scotty within an authentic antimatter energy stream. They photographed a number of dry, spindly tree branches laid side by side. After processing the film, they animated the image of the branches, looped it, and printed it with color film stock to create an illusion of flowing blue current.
Yeah, that really
Oh
worked.
my!
It was such a simple thing, but it really looks good.
Mm-hmm. It was neat.
Mm. And oh my goodness, the chat has been blowing up as I was getting through the episode. JD Lewis says, fun fact, Watkins was played by Kenneth Washington, who later replaced Ivan Dixon in Hogan's
Yes,
Heroes.
Jill covered that. Jill is full of fun facts.
Fun facts today. Well, if you're just joining us, you got to hear that fact for the first time. If you didn't hear
That's
me say it
true.
first.
It's good you got people on there, people
Mhm.
contributing in the chat with all
I
these neat factoids.
I agree. Mary, the Ginger Menace, says, Jill, you're awesome. My favorite thing you've ever given me was my original Star Trek calendar. I'm sad that it's over, and now I have my Utah's best beautiful picks. I need to order a new Star Trek one. Well, the calendar I bought for myself this year is a 1996 calendar for Deep Space Nine, and that's because the 1996 months, the days match 2024 perfectly, and they weren't selling 2024 Deep Space Nine calendars. So that's my calendar story. Mr. System 96, hello. Hey, I don't think I've seen you here before. Really great to see you.
How are you, Jill? You are awesome.
Doing great. Jill, check your spam inbox. I sent a channel donation via email yesterday because super chats don't work on my iPhone. Oh, no, really? That's amazing. Thank you, Eugene Bird. I will check that out. You sent a donation? I have to see. Just a moment, guys.
Okay.
Spam. You're right. I don't see it in my regular email. So is it in my spam?
Damn spam.
Yeah, there's things that go in there where it's on my safe list, but it still goes in there every once in a while. It's like, why is it doing that? So always check your spam or your junk folder.
Oh my goodness. Eugene Bird is Eugene Bird is the great bird of my galaxy today.
Oh, wow.
Because he's made an extremely extraordinarily generous donation of $200.
My goodness.
Damn, and I've got to pick it up. I will pick that up later. It looks like a little bit of work, but definitely worth it.
This live stream is going warp 14 as well.
This live stream is brought to you by Eugene Bird.
Yeah, by
One of
Eugene
your,
Bird.
he says, one of your many YouTube fans here, Gene Bird. You know, YouTube and Apple aren't letting me send a super chat. So I've saved up all the donations to send them. Oh, okay. So this is an accumulation of all the super chats you've wanted to send. That makes sense. That's incredible. Thank you.
That's so generous.
And he says, I know you don't need donations for your broadcasts. You're right, but at the same time, I go grocery shopping. And
there you go.
And I pay for StreamYard and stuff and channel things. And he says, I like your new logo with the integral sign. As a fan of YouTube broadcasts, I like a few channels, but you're very special because of your incredible kindness to people. And he talks about how I am smart and I have the same interests as him. And for being a mommy, you still spend plenty of time and effort working to entertain us and help others on their channel. So, and he does continue. And so I do need to get back to my episode, but thank you so much. He's sad that the original series broadcasts are wrapping up. I love spending time listening to you and Scotty and Snorty and Herc 130, everybody. And yeah. I know those guys spend 4 times as much around you, and you can still spend 3 hours chatting without the least bit of boredom. I do look forward to listening to whatever you choose to chat about in your future broadcasts. Thank you, Eugene Bird. That was extremely, extremely generous. And
Eugene Bird is now the great bird of the galaxy.
Of my galaxy. Well, he can't be the
yeah.
great bird of the galaxy. That's Gene Roddenberry.
But
he's the great bird
Jill's galaxy. Yeah.
Of antiderivative.
Yeah,
Jill's
I like
galaxy.
that better. You're right.
Yeah, right. Only one person can be the great bird, but he's the great of the galaxy, but he's the great bird of my quadrant. I don't know. Of my galaxy anyway. That is so great. Jim,
did Mary say she was really sick?
Oh no, is Mary sick? I'm so sorry. I hope you feel better soon.
You went right by her. She said she's really sick today or something like that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, really sick this week. Oh dear.
Oh, please feel better soon, Ginger.
Yeah, or send some prayers your way, Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully some more naps will make you feel better. I don't know.
Yeah, rest and plenty of fluids and vitamin C if it's a cold.
Yep.
Green tea, honey.
Oh yeah, that's excellent too.
Oh, and Penny's back from the store. Hello, Penny.
Yay, Penny.
Hey, Penny.
Welcome back.
And she has a kitty beside my name. Yay. I love kitties.
I'm not going to be covering TNG in order because I want to explore some other series, because getting into Star Trek, I'll be doing it for years, which is good, but I'm going to explore TNG at random on Fridays. So that's how I'm going to be doing that. And expensive. Like I'll have a whole stream discussing the Wesley problem.
Oh dear.
Poor Wesley.
Yeah, I avoided the show mainly because of him. And then my good buddy, he wanted me to record the TNG series from the 3rd season on, because it up in his area, it had changed channels and it was on the worst channel in that area where the reception was just terrible. And so he had me record 3rd season on for TNG, and that's when I actually started watching it. And of course, 3rd season is when
3rd season's the perfect time to get back in.
Exactly, because Wesley has left the show for the most part.
Yeah, exactly. He's still got to go off with the Traveler, but he's on and off at that point. And then it becomes Ensign of the Week.
Yeah.
Well, Cam's Crash Courses is here. Hello.
Hey, Cam.
Scotty and his magic wrench. Oh yes, Jeffrey.
The Nerdtorial Life Form. Hello.
Yeah, the Nerdtorial Life Form's here too. Yes.
If he's still listening, I watched just a couple nights ago. I watched your Forbidden Planet review, and that was recommended to me by Olaf von S. And it was just excellent.
Oh, awesome. I got to check that out. Thank you for, yes, everybody needs to make sure they're subscribed to Nerd Portal Lifeform. He has the most incredible, he does edited videos also, live in addition to his live streams that are really incredibly done.
Yeah, it's a 17-minute video, and then he also has a live stream covering it, which I haven't watched all the way through, but his shorter video is it's just chock full of facts about the production of Forbidden Planet.
I love Forbidden Planet. I have one too. I have a live stream too. But,
yeah, that's oh, you do. Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
yeah, that's such a great. And even Gene Roddenberry admitted that was a big influence on him for Star Trek.
Oh, for sure, and there's no doubt. There's so much in it, especially the way the crew relates with each other.
Right, and the triumvirate of captain, first officer, and doctor.
Definitely. Well, Captain Finity has an important question. He says, "Where's Scotty? Scotty R37. Well, Scotty's right here in the Jeffries tube, but Scotty R37 is he's out of power. He doesn't have power. He doesn't have a generator. He is out of commission today."
Yeah, that's a shame because I always like to hear what he has to say about each episode, and it's like, he may hate this one or he may really love this one. It's just
I have no idea because I didn't know he was going to be. If I would have known yesterday that he wasn't going to be here today, I would have had him record for me his opinions about the episode. But you'll just have to ask him when you're on a random panel with him later to find out what he thinks about it.
Yeah, I'll leave that up to you. Like if it's a member stream or
sure, for sure.
Or your next Star Trek stream, just real quick. But
I'll just badger him about it for 15 minutes on Friday before we talk about Buckaroo.
Oh, okay. I'll leave that to you.
There we go. Good plan.
Oh, and she's having problems with her back.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Mary. All these problems. I do hope that. Oh, do the Star Trek calendars include the star date?
Ooh.
Some do.
No. Well, some of them do, yeah.
Some
but
do.
This particular one doesn't.
And Commodore, what's the first star date?
I don't know. I mean, I bought the Star Trek.
No, I mean in the series. What's the first star date? Where No Man's Gone Before? 1313.12. The impossible has happened. Remember?
1313 Mockingbird Lane.
Oh, no, that's where they got it, huh?
Could be.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
1313 Mockingbird Lane.
I have to thank Ariba Bell. I'm sorry, Sunracket.
That's okay.
Let's see if this works on my iPhone. It works. Thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat.
Sweet.
That is awesome.
It works for Matt G. I mean, he's a whiz with his phone.
Well, he is
getting into, the super chats, and also when you have live streams that he's joined in, he's on his phone, so he can do it somehow.
Yeah, Matt G's a whiz, like you're saying. Rocco the Brave says, "Grats on everything lately, Jill. What a good morning, right?" No kidding. And Dave C, thank you so much for gifting one channel membership. That is awesome. And Captain Finity, Temperus Maximus received your gift, Dave C.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's just lovely. Subscribe to Clabbing. So much fun here. I'm so glad you have fun, Eugene Bird. That is the whole point. Anti-Derivative Jill presents My Mother the Car.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. It only lasted one season, Jill, so you can get through it quickly.
if April 1st is ever a Friday, that could happen.
We actually watch that once in a while as a family, just because of its reputation of being the the weirdest, dumbest show on television.
Oh my goodness, I've never seen it. Suzanne Eckstein says is a new member. Oh, thank you so much for becoming a member.
Hello.
A member on the series Superstars level.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Suzanne is a superstar.
And I think Jim was trying to say hello to you.
Nope.
Ginger Manor says, I want you to succeed and get so many subs. Raquel Briggs and I were saying how cool you are. Oh, you guys, you were. I love Raquel Briggs. I love her so much. She's so awesome and intelligent, and I hope to know as much as she does someday.
She's the reason I subscribed to Doomcock's channel, because she was on his early pop culture breakdown streams, and I was she's just so intelligent, and she's a true Trekker, just like you, Jill.
Yeah, she is definitely.
And you're both
tricky.
You're both true Trekkers. You're both so intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
And but I liked how she characterizes Kurtzman Trek. She just calls it the filth.
The filth, yeah.
Yeah. And she has quite some just fascinating observations.
It's a very apt name. And the Gingerman also spent time with Canadian Spider-Man. I did notice that Canadian Spider-Man is now having live streams about his traveling, and that is really wonderful. I'm so glad he's finally doing that. He was talking about that for like a year, and I'm so happy that he's finally sharing that stuff.
Yeah, that was in my notification. I saw that really early in the morning. I was keeping some weird hours. I was up until 5 in the morning.
Oh my goodness, you're so late.
Yeah, I had a power nap. I'm retired, and I had a power nap, and I didn't get tired again until 5 in the morning.
I stay up late too, but it's because I'm preparing for this episode. ActionCom says one question about the Jeffries tube. Who's Jeffries? It's
Matt Jeffries.
Matt Jeffries. Yeah, yes. Matt Jeffries. He created the Enterprise. He created so many things, so many props, so many items and devices.
Yeah. Matt Jeffries is the production designer. He didn't design the tricorders or the phasers or the communicators. That was Hua Chang.
Well, there you go.
But he designs. He does the set. All the sets.
Joking. I think he knows who Matt Jeffries is. Because then he says, "And when did Jeffrey get the tube?"
Oh dear. ActionCom, naughty.
That's a dad joke. Keith E says 2150s. The first start date. I'm kidding. Hello, Keith E. Suzanne Eckstein, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Canadian
$2, yay.
Canadian $2. Hello, all. Hello. The impossible has happened. Hello, Franco.
From directly ahead, et cetera, et cetera. I can't remember the rest, but
Forbidden Planet is one of my earliest vids. I had to talk the connection.
Yeah, he does talk to the connection with Star
I haven't
Trek.
seen it. I need to check that out.
Yeah,
I love Forbidden Planet so much. It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah, it's in my top 10 sci-fi movies favorites.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Thank you so much for the chat. And so let's see what's going on here.
It feels like ants crawling all over my body.
That was a great impression, but I will.
Oh, it feels like ants crawling all over my body. If the magnetic flow jumps, you must jettison me.
And that's a scary moment. You don't want to hear about Scotty having to be jettisoned.
Yeah.
We're at warp 11.2, so it's climbing.
You have 10 minutes and 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm. So we got the clock, and we've got the out of control starship.
I don't need a bloody cuckoo clock.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and the killer computer lady calls it the spaceship Enterprise, as if this is season 1. But it's okay because she's from a different planet, so she doesn't know.
Yep. Once Gene Alcoon got on board, spaceship became Starship.
Right.
Space Central became Starfleet Command and United Federation of Planets and all that good stuff.
And this is for Jim, who just repeated this.
Don't need a bloomin' cuckoo clock.
That's right. Bloomin'. I thought I said bloody. Oh well. Sounds good either way.
Yeah.
And
Lumen.
Spock continues to kind of be rude to Scotty, but Scotty sends it back pretty well. I do like some of these exchanges. They're really good. They're still working together. They're still figuring it out and getting the job done. So I'm not that mad at this because they're
Warp 11.9.
And I'm tired of picking on my favorite character in Star Trek. I love Spock. What are they doing?
Yeah, my favorite character is Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on the very first live stream with WDW Pro, and we were all talking about our favorite fictional characters, and I started talking about Kirk because the person before me talked about Picard, so I had to counteract that. But
Sure.
WDW Pro
Good
interrupted me and said, "Well, why isn't Spock your favorite character?"
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
well, between you, myself, and Scotty, we've got the three. My favorite is Spock, yours is Kirk, and his is Dr. McCoy.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Sweet.
Oh, the 365 book has something to say about the Jeffries tubes.
Okay.
And ActionCom wants to know. Like Gene Roddenberry, Walter Matt Jeffries had flown B-17s during World War II. So they both understood the workings of flying vehicles. On the day they met, Roddenberry asked Jeffries to design a starship that was instantly recognizable, but had no flames, no fires, no rockets. Jeffries, who previously served on a designer with Ben Casey's series art department, took the assignment very seriously. He drew dozens of designs before Roddenberry accepted his final version of the Enterprise with its saucer, lower hull, and twin nacelles. The young production designer moved on to create many of the props and sets that visually defined Star Trek today, including the iconic design of the Enterprise bridge. One particular set is identified very closely with the art director, that narrow cylindrical crawlway that allowed Scotty instant access to malfunctioning system equipment throughout the ship, as seen in That Which Survives and numerous other episodes. The production staff jokingly referred to the cramped crawlway as the Jeffries tube, and the name stuck. Although it was never officially terminology, some 2 decades later, the writing staff of Star Trek The Next Generation incorporated the name within a script, and when a crew member uttered it on the air, the term Jeffries tube, at long last, was rendered canon. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things of TNG is that the recognition of the original series.
Just to be that guy, what we're seeing here is not the Jeffries tube. The Jeffries tube is the one that's at an angle.
Yep.
That we see more often.
And I agree with you. This one's not meant to be crawled in. You're absolutely right. That's why they call it a crawlway.
Let's call it the Jeffries crawlway.
There you go.
But you're absolutely right, because Scotty makes a point. Nobody's supposed to go in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not while it's on, anyway.
Right.
Because it does
have. The thing is, it is containing any kind of radiation, the magnetic flow.
Mm-hmm.
So at least he's not endangered that way. So.
Right.
But this episode opened up so much with my child's imagination because I started understanding how the antimatter was controlled with this magnetic system, and it was just fascinating.
It is. Like, we take it for granted. Oh, matter and antimatter collide, they're going to explode. We know that, but this episode, for a lot of people, is the first time they're actually thinking about it.
And they don't specifically say this.
Might not be the first time, but
yeah, they don't specifically. Yeah, they don't specifically say this, but in my child's imagination, I said, "Oh, so the dilithium crystals control the magnetic flow." That's how I saw it in my mind. But
that sounds good to me.
Because they hadn't quite worked that out in the infamous alternative factor. It just said the dilithium crystal is the heart of my ship's power.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Well, and I'm kind of like, well, wait a minute. Your ship runs on crystals? No, it's part of the system.
So I was wrong. The first time they talk about antimatter and matter exploding is probably the alternative factor. My least favorite episode, but I do love that idea.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is still of your list, even despite the fact that we've gone through and the children shall lead.
That's right.
Okay.
And no, that the children shall lead came very, very close.
And the way to Eden is also better.
I haven't gotten there yet. It may dethrone it. I gotta analyze it a little more closely.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you know soon.
So how long has it been since you've seen that?
I haven't seen it in I haven't seen it in 17 years.
Oh, wow.
I watched it once.
17 years. Yeah, I haven't seen that one since approximately 1970.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought
it was in syndication because it's not one of my favorites.
Right, exactly. I don't think it is anybody's.
Like when it's on, oh, it's this episode, not watching Star Trek today.
That's where I check out almost every episode for what I do on my fan film.
And thank you to Suzanne Ekstrom for a $5 Canadian super chat.
Ooh,
Jill, who's on panel? Yeah, but she has an important question. She wants to know who's on the panel. My vision is poorly. Okay, so yeah, this is something that I've been realizing that I need to do, which is repeat people's names more. I'm bad at it. So right below me is Commodore Boone. Say hello, please. So
hello.
It's Commodore Boone, and you hear that voice. That's Commodore Boone.
Yep.
And then Stone Racket.
Hello, Suzanne.
Hello, Suzanne. So that is when that voice you just heard. That's Stone Racket. And we can't say hello to Bird of Prey 5 because he's away. He's probably gone for the rest of the stream. But it makes me feel better seeing his icon down there.
Yeah, Bird of Prey 5 has a nice, quiet voice.
Yes.
And sometimes I meow. So that would be Stone Racket.
Meow. Meow.
Yeah.
Huh. Action Com has an interesting point.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I do need to check out the chat again. Let me see what's going on.
He says you should look into aluminum fuel, a process where aluminum is used to separate water into hydrogen and oxygen. The process sounds like it belongs on the starship.
Well, we'll take that idea and pass it along to Scotty and let you know.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to beat out dilithium crystals, but anything is worth checking out.
Dilithium crystals gives you power. That's why they got the matter and an antimatter going through there to give the power.
Let's see here. And thank you guys for staying around so long. I think if they're going to die, maybe we can accept that they're being hurt with each other. Oh, that's a great theory, Eugene Bird. That Scotty and Spock are Well, they're not exactly snapping at each other. They're still calm. They're still collected. They're still working on their jobs. This is still Star Trek. There's nothing really all that wrong. It's just Spock is just a little bit cranky.
Yeah.
He's a Vulcan. The Vulcan's got to do what the Vulcan's got to do.
Every Trek fan needs a copy of Inside Star Trek by Herb Solo and Robert Justman, says Claude Parrish. It's a great source for the history of this landmark series.
Yeah,
Well,
I got that when it first came out. It's a great book. I'm glad they finally had their say, because there was so much
there's some interesting
false information and accusations from the fandom concerning Herb Solo's role, and I really appreciated that book.
Yeah, and Herb Solo was very important, and especially in the first season.
Yeah, he helped sell the show. And in fact, Roddenberry was so awkward when he was presenting the show. Herb Solo kind of helped him sell his concept as well.
Wes Kagel says, I don't give any TOS episode an F, but this one gets a D for me. It's one of the only TOS episodes I skip every time.
Oh dear. I won't meow now. I'm going to cry. No.
Hey, hailing the USS Anti-Derivative.
Yeah.
Hello, Darius. Really, really awesome to see you today. I was wondering if I'd see you today, actually, and I did.
Wow, Jill, you have your own starship. That's incredible.
I do. I'm still serving on the Clobby Prize, but yeah, I do.
Yes,
I do have.
You're a communications officer on the Clobby Prize, right?
I am.
Yeah.
So we're getting that magnetic sweep again. So
and
of course
there she
that's
is.
an indication of Locira. She's appeared. Jill gives it a D for D's nuts, says Darius. Thank you, Darius.
And that great Kirk
so
logic.
Here it is. Okay, so this isn't an accurate representation of the runtime, but my slideshow is 28 minutes long, and at the 20-minute 59-second mark is when she starts explaining herself. So I guess the last that's probably the last 15 to 20 minutes. 20 minutes would be generous.
That's okay. It's a mystery.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
But
we
then
of
course Kirk doesn't like mysteries. They give him a bellyache.
Just
he's got a butte right now.
Yeah. You got it.
Shatner did not like that line or those lines at all. But it's a classic. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
From the Man Trap, of course.
Right. And so this is where the hokey pokey starts. That somebody in the chat mentioned. I forget who.
Yeah.
That's a great description for what they start to do.
I am Locira.
And she knows killing is wrong. So she doesn't feel good about it.
Yeah, her performance is really good. I mean, she gave what was needed, I thought. Even though the director wasn't really helping her, she got it.
She figured it out on her own that she's not supposed to be she's not supposed to enjoy being a killer. She's supposed to lament it. Like she's just being forced to do it because she's programmed to do it.
Yeah, I don't know if she had any actual professional training at all, but if she didn't, she's just a natural.
Mm-hmm.
She is. I think that's what it is. And just reading her interview in the Mark Cushman book, she's extremely charming.
Yeah.
And so they find the underground.
And it just magically opens. Please explain that, Jill.
I think I got tired of questioning the episode.
Yeah, this even as a child, I kind of went, well, wait a minute. Was it just opening for Kirk?
Yeah.
Because of his previous dialogue with Locira? And it's like,
Yeah, she does her disappearing act and the section of rock slides back open. That's all I have in my notes.
Yeah.
You're right. There's no explanation. But here Spock does some analysis, and so since they've been through this transporter, then they're slightly out of phase. So that's what it was attributed to Scotty's feelings. His feelings are being revealed through science. And so I do kind of like that. And so they need to reverse the polarity on the magnetic probe in order to seal the incision.
Now, this time, reversing the polarity makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All the other times in TNG and stuff, it's like it was a fallback. That and tachyon emissions. It's just like, oh, I want to forbid those terms forever.
My favorite is when Geordi has to reset the Enterprise computer to fix the problem. And I'm like, yes, that's like real life. Have you tried turning it on and off again?
Yeah. Can I a quick reverse polarity anecdote?
Sure.
Okay. When I was still working, my coworker Shane, he and I are big Star Trek fans, and he's really into building models of the various starships. That's it. He has that's his big hobby, and he got one of those elaborate kits to modify the model that he had of the Enterprise so that the warp engines had that rotating effect, and so he actually was installing motors to with the lighting effect for the warp drive engines, just like it is on the original model. And but he put everything together and it didn't work.
Oh.
That's because it arrived put together wrong. And how did he solve it? He reversed
the polarity.
He reversed the polarity, and then he put the batteries in, and everything worked.
Damn. Interesting story.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it really, it's a Star Trek reverse the polarity in real life.
Can't believe that actually happened.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I couldn't stop laughing when he told me that. I was just like,
I'm so glad.
But Shane gave me that one model of the Enterprise that I put in the Discord chat.
Well, we're at warp 14.1.
Yes, 14.1. It's like, they go 0.2. I think everything's going to fly apart.
Well, Scotty used to get radical at just like warp 8. So
yeah.
Warp 14, man.
And Jill, what's the safe cruising speed for a starship?
6.
Yes. Warp 6.
Warp 6. He finally asked what I know. I'm so excited.
Anyway. Oh, I knew you were gonna know that one. That's.
I know it's just that you were asking me these questions on the Lost in Space stream last night, and I was like,
well,
I didn't know this stuff.
I apologize.
I don't know Lost in Space as well as Star
Trek. I apologize for that.
That's okay.
But since it's new to you, I'd like to keep you on your toes. And besides, pop culture knows the answers whenever I ask things. So that's always I ask you or PvP trivia questions.
I thought it was warp 7 and they can go to warp 8 only if they have to.
Yeah, the safe cruising speed is 6. But yeah, for emergencies, warp 8 is kind of like the maximum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speed.
You know, the safe maximum for them in emergency.
Gotcha.
Oh, here's the circling maneuver.
Yeah, the pokey, and I turned myself around. That's what it's all about.
Not until the other two show up.
I am for James T. Kirk. I want her to be for Stone Racket, but sorry. Scratch that.
Well, man. Well, you do know what happened, right?
Yes.
Not exactly that.
Yes, I'm confused, Jill. I'm a toxic male, and I'm so confused when I see Lee Merriweather in all her beauty.
That's fair enough.
In my humble opinion, she's never looked better. This episode, she's just a knockout.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm a toxic male.
Well, I think I kind of skipped over it, but the clock ticks down, Scotty. Did we skip it? We missed it. Yeah, we did. So Scotty does figure it out before, but he keeps saying, jettison me,
Yeah.
and
Push the button.
do what's right for the crew. And Spock knows, he holds on to the very last second. And
Yep.
so what Spock does in the episode in terms of the care for his crewmate is kind of makes up a bit for what he says. Actions do speak louder than words, and he is still Spock in this episode.
Yeah, he pulls a Galileo 7. Waits to the last possible second.
And you're right, that is kind of kind of like that.
Now there's 3 Losiras.
And the hokey pokey begins.
Yeah, and so that begins until Spock and Scotty arrive to destroy the computer.
Well, the guy in the red shirt.
Oh, it's not Scotty.
Yeah,
why did I think it was Scotty?
He pops up in another episode, that same actor in the
Hold
red
on.
shirt.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Why did I think that? I messed up, guys. Anybody listening, it is God, it is Spock and
A security officer.
Yeah, sir.
Security officer.
And look at that beautiful blue beam from the phaser.
Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's green.
Yeah, you like green the best, Commodore, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a name. He's just the guard. The guard phasers the cube.
Security.
And Sarah's disappear.
It doesn't destroy the computer, but it slows down its swirly pattern thing.
Oh, it doesn't destroy?
No, it just slows. If you look at the pattern, it just slows it down.
Well, it does.
So it doesn't disintegrate. It doesn't explode. It does affect it, but I don't think it's fully destroyed. But
let's just say this isn't my favorite Kirk versus the computer episode.
No, he's an expert in shorting them out. I just love all that. I never get tired of that.
I think the problem was that he didn't know he was dealing with the artificial intelligence. If he had known that sooner, I think he could have done something there. And as a result of red shirt guard, Scotty R37 is great at making up a name. Can you make up a name for me, Stone Racket, for the red shirt? He needs a name.
Let's see. We'll call him Stanley.
Stanley. Thank you, Stanley, for getting rid of the Losiras.
Stanley, the security officer. There you go. Ensign.
And then his zapping the computer. Did in your estimate there, Jill, does that trigger that message from Lucira?
No,
or yeah, it's like it's kind of reminds me of HAL 9000. Once he's fully disconnected, and then he reveals his secret with that briefing message that David Bowman witnesses. So it's like, did the zapping of the computer, trigger that message? So.
Yep, it did.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden you see her appear, and she tells a story, what they did and what happened.
Yeah, and also she says that if you've gotten this far, you've conquered our defenses.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I'm actually going to read what Lucira says.
Oh, yeah, please do.
She says, my fellow Calandans, welcome. A disease has destroyed us. Beware of it. After your long journey, I'm sorry to give you only a recorded welcome, but we who have guarded the outpost for you will be dead by the time you take possession of this planet. I am the last of our advanced force left alive. Too late, the physicians, discovered the cause of the sickness that killed us. In creating this planet, we have accidentally produced a deadly organism. I have awaited the regular supply ship from home for medical assistance, but I doubt now whether it will arrive in time. I will set the outpost controls on automatic. The computer will selectively defend against all life forms but our own. My fellow Kalandans, I, Lucira, wish you well. And so Lee Merriweather says about this, the other part that was extremely difficult for me to visually comprehend was when I became 3 women. To do that, I had to do it exactly the same way each time so that it all matched. And then we had to do it over and over because it was before CGI and all of that. They had to cover part of the camera lens and blink out part of the screen. And 3 times, they'd have to run the same section of film through the camera. I had never done anything like that, so I didn't understand it. But Herb tried to explain it to me and was very patient, just like I couldn't visualize the overall aspect of it until I saw it on TV and went, oh, that's what he meant. When we were filming, I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's really well done. You know, they had to crank the film back and then rephotograph. So she had to change position each time and be within a certain parameter there. And it's very time consuming, but I'm glad they did that.
Yeah, me too. And I don't know if anybody said Naomi Pollock. It played Rada.
Rada,
I don't remember. I didn't grab information about her, but I think you covered it for me. So thank you. We had an ensign named Brad Forrest. Oh, maybe that's Stanley.
Yeah.
Brad Forrest Stanley.
Brad Forrest is Stanley. Ensign Stanley.
Kenneth Washington played Watkins. Really, really great. Really, I really liked him as a Starfleet officer.
Yeah. It's too bad that he had to get killed.
Like, I was more sad for him than the other guy.
D'Amato?
Yeah, D'Amato.
Yeah, I feel bad for him too.
Yeah, I do, but
yeah, Watkins cried out in pain. It was like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. There was more pain there.
Yeah.
There was more going on.
And what's this from, everybody? Where no man has gone before.
Oh, right. James Arkirk.
Yeah, James. Brain. What is brain?
Spock's brain.
Yeah, the Spock's brain device.
Well, you said it. I can't.
I already knew it.
Brain and brain. What is brain?
Yeah.
And so these are the other clips I didn't play earlier.
Reverse polarity should seal the incision.
But it gets
stuck.
It gets stuck.
It's stuck. Yeah, we missed that part. It gets stuck, and then he gets it loose.
That's a little contrived, but it's okay.
There's no time. Push the button.
Push the button.
It's right here.
Loose! There's no time. Push the button.
And he gets it. Oh, just in the last second.
Mr. Scott, you have accomplished your task. Okay, that's a part I don't like either, because several times during Star Trek. Okay, actually, let's just get into our reviews. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to talk about it in my review. And so, Commodore Boone, please tell us what you rate this episode. And
I'll give it a big fat A like I normally do. It was a pretty interesting episode, especially when Scotty got his tools stuck.
And we're running low on time, so also please, after you do your review, please promote your channel.
Okay, well that's pretty much it. Really, it's just an interesting episode. You learn how the ship got pushed out in space, and they figure it out and come back, and all that good stuff. Commodore Productions right now has 6 fan films done. Just waiting on other actors to get their stuff done and start sending them out. That's about it.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim and Stone Racket. Do you have anything you want to share? And what do you rate this episode?
Yeah, I rate this as a B. It does have some problems, but maybe I'm a little blinded by nostalgia and as well as Lee Merriweather's beauty. But I enjoyed this when it was first aired. I enjoyed the whole Warp 14 and Scotty's, rescuing the ship and all that whole sequence. That was exciting for me as a child, and it still works today, in my opinion. But yeah, this is one of my top 10 favorites. And despite its
season 3
season 3, yeah. But despite the problems, I still enjoy this episode. I find it intriguing.
So we don't have Bird of Prey 5 here, but we got his review at the top of the show. He gave it a B for reasons he already gave us. So I'm so happy that he did that then. So I will plug his channel for him. He is an incredible he's an incredible YouTuber. He's very funny. He won't say this about himself, but he is. He's a great storyteller. That's one of the things is he'll just randomly break into storytelling mode and come up with spectacular, hilarious, sometimes a little bit dirty story, but he's really awesome. And he has a bed life. He has a live stream where he reads the chat and he talks to everybody, and he talks about what kind of day it is, like, is it donut day or whatever. And it's a lot of fun. He plays Wordle and he just has a good time. And he also does edited content. He talks about Star Trek, of course. And he also has watch parties. And he actually does watch parties well. He's not going to leave you with a whole ton of dead air. He actually provides really interesting commentary throughout the episodes. And so the watch parties for Star Trek Enterprise are sometimes on Wednesdays. I'm sure he's going to get back to that at some point. And bed lives are on Fridays and Mondays. And then he actually has been having a lot of random streams now and then.
How far is he into the Enterprise series?
I think he's in season 2. He's around season 2, either the end of season 2 or beginning of 3. So,
and that's on Wednesdays if he gets around to it?
Yes. At 3 Central.
I might have to tune in then.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And hopefully I did okay. He's sharing out his channel. He's
good.
Yeah, did I miss anything?
Yeah.
Because he's one of the channels I really look up to. So he's really great. And so
I'll have to check his channel out. That's
it is a good channel. I go there a lot.
And then Commodore, your fan films, you haven't posted the first one yet, have you? Or
I've been doing fan films for over a year. I mean, I do have a playlist.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said something about you had 6 ready.
I have 6 ready. Everything that I done on my side, just waiting on the other actors to get their stuff in.
Yeah, you're just referring to the latest of what you have. So I'm going to have to check out your fan films as well.
Yeah, definitely. And he also does his own graphics, computer graphics and things for them.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, pretty neat.
I wish I was that talented.
Yeah,
but I'm not. I'm just a cat.
Meow.
Yeah, he knows about the editing and stuff. So,
yeah.
Oh, I'm still learning editing. That's fun.
So I'm so glad for the order that we gave our reviews in, because Commodore Boone gives it an A, Stone Racket and Bird of Prey 5 gave it a B. and I gave it a C. So there are things I love about this episode. There are things that are confusing and are not explained in this episode. And so there are some things I like, some things I don't. I don't like the way they completely changed Spock to be season 1 Spock, but even before, I don't know. It's almost like he's a completely different Vulcan.
Yeah.
Damn right.
And I'm surprised, once again, Nimoy went with that. It's like, maybe he just didn't care. I don't know.
Well, there's a Spock who will counsel his crew, like, this is something you should be doing. What you're doing is illogical, and here's how you can make it better. And that Spock, he doesn't have to be rude.
Yeah.
He usually does that. And he does it with acknowledging the humanity of his crew, because he's both tolerant and understanding. And well, I guess like sometimes he and McCoy make fun of each other, but that's because they're friends.
Yeah, that's that's something that I'm glad DC Fontana and Gene L. Kuhn played up, because they just saw the actors on screen. They're going, hey, this is working really good. Let's do more of this.
Right. They have a great chemistry for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why it works.
Yeah, I can understand why this is a difficult episode for you, because your favorite character is Spock, and he's not behaving like the proper Spock.
Exactly. And that was my problem with the alternative factor too, but they don't even take it this far in terms of Spock's character.
Yeah.
And I just, at least when he dismisses Scotty's feelings, it does come back later in the episode, and he turns it around, and Scotty's feelings are confirmed by science. But yeah, you're right.
I like science.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Ethan Peck. Another thing that bothered me was that that the episode they set up an intriguing mystery, but we don't get any clues or hints until the end. And so I think that's why I don't exactly love this episode, because there's some cool ideas that are not fully realized. They don't really dig deep into what it means to be a artificial intelligence who doesn't want to kill. Because I think that is really cool that they set up a defense system that has a heart, or has a soul, kind of, that still has the remnants of a real person.
Of Lucira herself, yeah.
And I do think that's a great idea.
Jill?
Yes.
Beauty endures.
Right. Beauty is transient. And then Kirk, oh, that's the thing. And then Kirk says beauty survives.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the only thing. That's what saves this episode from a lower score are the character interactions, aside from Spock. I do enjoy some of the Spock stuff. I enjoy the new technobabble we get. I think a lot of the stuff from the original series season 3 heavily influences TNG. I'm not sure why they go to season 3 for their inspiration, but I think this is where we get our technobabble, where we get our reversal polarity, like you said, comes up in TNG all the time.
Yeah.
And despite the things that Spock says in this episode, his actions are great. He gives Scotty until the last possible moment to save the ship. He knows how important he is to the crew.
Indeed.
And it isn't logical, but it is human. And so that is some great foreshadowing for how he behaves in the movies. I can sense some of the ideas that might have shined, like if DC Fontana had actually worked on the teleplay.
Yeah. Yeah, she had if Robert Justman were the actual executive producer, she more than likely would have stayed on, and season 3 would be totally different.
Okay, so you were mentioning the last couple of lines in this episode, and I
Yeah,
did
I
have something positive for that.
I
Yes.
got the quote wrong. It's "Beauty survives" is his exact line.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
said endures.
Hmm. Right. And Kirk says the computer was too perfect. It projected so much of Lucira's personality into that replica that I felt regret, guilt, and killing.
Mhm.
That bought us time, the time we needed to destroy it. She must have been a remarkable woman and beautiful, says McCoy. And Spock says beauty is transitory. However, she was still evidently highly intelligent. And I did like that as a Spock line.
Yeah.
That is definitely Spock. And Kirk, of course, responds with beauty survives. But the reason why this was a great Spock quote is that he finds value in her intelligence, which can live past beauty. I think it's a beautiful thing to say because we learn and grow, and that's something that does endure.
Yeah, all three of those characters, it's they're that interaction, just what you quoted, that works totally. I just wish that they were that
I
careful
just
with the
felt like
writing in
that
the
could have been the
earlier part
whole
of the
episode.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
could have done that the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very valid point.
And before I get back to the chat with the remaining time that we have, I want to share with you guys what the chat says. What did the chat review? How does the chat score that
Okay.
which survives?
Oh, probably a
Let's see.
B.
You got it. Well
Yeah.
done. Good
44%.
call.
But
Commodore.
35% with an A.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it is an enjoyable time. I can understand the enjoyable time. Like I have a lot of nitpicks, but those are all technical. That's all technical stuff. It's stuff that I expect from Star Trek because I have such a high standard for it.
Yeah,
And
they're
so
all valid though. They're
if
all
you grade it
valid.
on a curve, yeah, sure, an A or a B, and only 6% gave it a D to an F because it's really not one too many people hate. I don't think. And so that's a great score. And I'll leave that open just for a few minutes and end it in a little bit.
Yeah, you got 48 votes. That's a lot. Oh, the Reluctant Dragon's in the chat.
Oh, hello, Reluctant Dragon. I actually have quite a few chats to read. Yours says 45, but I stopped reading at 95. Here it is. Oh, Christine Hurt. Oh, okay. We'll talk about that on Friday, Christine, if you want to talk about that. I don't think I have time to talk about SNW. Oh dear. Yeah, right. Mhm. They wanted to do one worse than This Way to Eden. So there you go. Or that way, the way to Eden. The way to Eden, anyway.
Uh-huh.
Jill gives it okay, so that's where I was. Thank you, Darius, for providing that landmark marker there. This one isn't bad as it is. I think you mean forgettable. Oh, this one is not even as bad as unforgettable. Forgettable. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so Christine Hurd is referencing a Voyager episode, which is completely awful. That's not even. This is at least a Star Trek episode. You've got a science fiction concept, and you've got your crew, and they're solving problems, and they're getting along for the most part. They're a little snippy, but they're still doing what they're supposed to do. Maybe something in the magnetic field caused some changes in Spock's suppression. I'm making stuff up now, giving Spock his pieces because I do still like the episode. But Unforgettable is not even a Star Trek. It's in the three. It's Voyager, so it's real Star Trek. But this one, it's just a soap opera, and it's not very good. And so thank you for that, Christine. That is true.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear. JD Lewis says, great show today, but I'm not feeling so hot. So it's nap time. Oh, have a good nap, JD Lewis. I hope you have a great nap. I hope you're having a nap right now and you actually are resting so that you can feel better. And so I'll put a star on that one because I have to look at what Mary Ashmead just sent me.
Yeah, $20.
Thank you for the extremely generous $20, the Ginger Menace. She says, Jill, Raquel and I have been friends since day one. We DM back and forth. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. And we both think that you are amazing. You will get there. You know so much about Trek. I'm so happy for you. You will get to her level, and we both agreed. Thank you. Thank you, the Ginger Menace. That means a lot to me. I do like hearing that, but at the same time, you're always your own worst critic. So always look at yourself and you think, hey, I can do more. And that's why I always do so much research for these shows, because I don't want to be caught off guard not knowing a thing that I should know. Action Com says they're going, but sometimes I am caught off guard, and those are kind of funny moments too. So there's nothing wrong with not knowing something. I'm here to learn. Action Com says they're going for the Roach Motel method. Humans check in,
but they don't check out.
Check out. And hello to Booger 414. Good to see you. Mikey sees 4. Woohoo! Warp 14.1.
Yeah, that's how I felt like a kid, but it also was like, wait a minute, I don't want the Enterprise to blow up.
Yeah, really.
Dave C advises always reverse the polarity and never cross the streams.
Yep.
Except when you have an interdimensional demon creature.
Yeah, right. That's the one point
Then
where
you do it and it works.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and everybody goes everywhere. Marshmallow. Dave C says, so when Scotty says, can you read this for me, Stone Racket?
So when Scotty says, I'm giving her all she's got, Captain, he kind of really means it's this time. He really means it this time.
Mm.
Yeah, for real. I think that's the highlight of one of the highlights of the episode is that moment. It does feel tense.
In the Doomsday Machine, I love it when Kirk says, Scotty, can you rig the impulse engines to blow up? Or words to that effect. And Scotty says, what does he say? The shape they're in, it's hard to keep them from blowing.
Oh, excuse me.
It's a burly red shirt who phasers the computer projector. Good for him.
Yes, we named him Ensign Stanley for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ActionCom says TOS should have had a Lower Decks episode for the background actors. That would have been cool.
Yeah, a legitimate Lower Decks episode, not that cartoon tripe.
And the ultimate what? Oh, right. Yeah, no. Well, we did have a legitimate Lower Decks episode in The Next Generation. I did like that. As season 7, one of the better season 7 episodes of TNG.
No, Wes Cagle said that he thought the ultimate computer was the best Kirk versus computer. That's a really good one, and I just love the way Shatner goes, "Why?" You know,
mm-hmm.
You know,
why ask why? Drink blood dry.
And of course, his first "Sure You Not Have a Computer" is what episode?
Oh, What Little Girls Are Made Of is or
Return of the Archons.
You could also say Return of the Archons with Landru.
I just wish Kirk.
I like to say What Little Girls Are Made Of because they are androids, and she does convince her.
Yeah.
Because it's not the official answer, but it's my answer.
Yeah, that's a good one. I just wish Kirk had said to Landru, "You are not God," because he sure was acting like he was.
Yeah, that would have been cool. But he does question it.
Yeah. The body is dying.
I also like Taste of Armageddon because he doesn't have to argue at all. Just blast.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, the Changeling, that's a good one to shorts
Oh, and the
out,
Changeling
that. Yeah.
that was written by John Meredith Lucas, who wrote this episode. So
That's not one of my
he does.
favorites, but
I
I
like
do
it, though.
like, you were the Kirk.
It's my favorite John Meredith Lucas written episode.
Uh-huh.
So there you go.
Would
I think he wrote it, right?
Would that be in your top 10 for season 2?
I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
I haven't ranked them yet. But
Yeah.
when I finish TOS, I will rank them all, and I'm not sure how I'm going to format that yet because I need to make sure everybody on the panel has enough time to talk
Yeah,
about
you already have my list.
Yeah, right?
I did change my third season. That's the only one I changed my mind on. But
Fair enough.
my top 25.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there when we get there. And
yes.
Franco Walker says, please subscribe, share, hit the like, and select live chat. This was the talk of 7th grade when it first aired, says Keithy. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool when I get to hear about people who actually got to watch Star Trek in real time.
And of course, when it was in syndication, I had a lot of buddies and, school chums that were also fans, and we still talk Trek.
I think this is the perfect review for this episode. The episode has its charms, but it's not one of my favorites. I could say that too.
Yeah. No argument there.
Mm-hmm. A movie edited by a cat sounds interesting, says Booger414.
Booger.
Is that a reference to me?
Maybe
maybe I should start a channel.
Franco, of course. Let's see what you got to say. Franco Walker says, I gave this episode a B-. And it might even be that short content is good for you. Maybe you're good at editing. Check it out.
Ooh.
And Mikey Sue's 4 says he gave it an A. But it will take Spock years to learn that they are friends. The Ginger Menace says, I'm good at science and also a cat person. I've had cats since I was a kid. How do I donate to you, Jill? Well, you figured it out. Thank you so much, the Ginger Menace. I don't know what I do, but I'm glad.
It's nice that Mary's also a cat lover.
And I hope you feel better soon. I hope you're back and you're coughing. I hope it all clears up.
Yeah, coughing does not help a person's back out at all.
The Reluctant Dragon says, Lee Merriweather, when in costume on the set of Batman, was unable to sit because of how tight the costume was.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that, I mean, she looks great in it, but at what cost? It's like, oh, dear.
Mm-hmm. And you're right, Christine Hurt. Nothing illogical in trying to save the best engineer in Starfleet, in my opinion. But I think I was making a reference to the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And that's what Scotty was basically saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jettison me, because he didn't want his crewmates to die. But Spock knew what he was doing. He's extremely precise. He can calculate things to the millisecond. And so it makes sense that he knows exactly when it's too late.
Yeah.
And so because of the background, it's not even this episode. It's because of all the episodes we've seen before that we're convinced Spock can do this. Mikey says, thank you so much for the stream. I'm off to do my A-Team series review. We're currently on season 1, episode 6, Black Day. Take care, everyone. Bye, Mikey. Have a good stream.
Bye, Mikey. Take care.
Take care, Mikey.
And Franco Walker gave it a B-. Christine says, I'm doing encouraging videos later this week. If anyone needs encouragement, I'm around.
Oh, that's sweet.
That is very nice. Oh, Christine Hurt, ship's counselor.
There you go.
Yeah.
Edge of Time says, "Hail, Penny." Mr. Miles says, "Reversing polarity doesn't do anything if you're using AC power. Tesla wouldn't approve of Star Trek." Nikola Tesla. Oh, alternating current. We need it. It's good stuff.
But they're using Star Trek power.
Yeah. Yeah, they're down with the Thomas Edison. Christine Hurt says, "I have to leave the chat. My son has a sinus infection, and I have to try to help him." Your son is sick too.
Oh, that's
man,
too
you
bad.
can't catch a break.
Yeah.
Oh, that's oh man. I hope he feels better.
Yeah.
See you later, Christine. Thanks so much for all the chats. Some channel did a video arguing that TNG season 1 isn't that bad. I had to block them. Well, okay. Well, I hope this doesn't earn me an unsubscribe, but half of season 1 is terrible because I actually reviewed all of season 1 TNG, all of TNG in the chat at the Clobby show. So I know that I do not like half of season 1, but half of season 1 actually gets a B from me. There's some not terrible stuff in TNG season 1. It's just that when it's bad, it's so awful. The awfulness overshadows the good.
Most definitely.
That's what happened in TNG. Booger414 says, "I don't dislike Lower Decks, but they often take the comedy too far. The Orville does it better." Well, that's my problem with Lower Decks, is that there's some moments where they're paying respect to canon and they're respecting Star Trek, and then the very next second they throw it in the toilet and they start making fun of Star Trek, or they start talking about how ridiculous some of the concepts are, and I don't think that New Trek has earned the right to have an SNL Star Trek, because the rest of New Trek just isn't Star Trek. And I know it is run by somebody who is a real Star Trek fan. He used to do Twitter posts, funny Twitter posts about pretend TNG episodes, but for whatever reason, I don't know, it's not my jam. Booger414 says, "Landru, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes."
Ghostbusters.
And so I know that there are
Ghostbusters reference.
I saw most of the episodes of TOS in black and white many times before I ever saw them in color, says the Reluctant Dragon. Wow.
I was lucky to see it in color from day one.
Same here.
Oh, that's sweet. I was just going to ask you, Commodore, if you were lucky that, like I was, had a dad that bought a color TV right before the start of the fall season in 1966.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and Dad bought a brand new TV, a 25-incher, brand new.
Yeah, same with my father.
Yep.
It was ours was a Sylvania. It was a standalone color TV, because my dad already had a hi-fi set, but then when the TV went out, he traded in for a all-in-one console, which if you watch the Rumblings from the Lab live stream from Saturday, you'll see I had pictures of that console.
It's a great conversation, because this is what we talked about during the cage, is how everybody saw Star Trek for the first time. So I'm so glad you guys got to share that.
Yeah, it was just made for color TV. I mean, it was just the way the cinematography was. It was just crying, just color.
The Reluctant Dragon says, "We had a color TV, but I couldn't watch Star Trek if my mother was around."
Oh, yeah, the Reluctant.
Oh, Stone Racket can relate.
Yeah, with me, it was when my father was around.
For sure.
Because he just
Brother-
you look down
I
on
guess.
Trek for some. Oh, he's back.
Oh
We're
yeah,
afraid.
yeah. Welcome
We're
back.
afraid.
Yes, thanks.
Yay.
So
Excellent.
sorry.
We're glad you're back.
We are glad you're back. Is there
Thank
anything you wanted to add about the episode? that you
No,
didn't
but
get to
just
say
as you
before?
guys were talking, I was lucky. Mom will pray, Dad will pray, and my uncle were all big Star Trek fans.
Oh, that's sweet.
I most associated it with my uncle. He was a big, sci-fi fan, aliens, and he used to play with video cameras and making fake UFO videos.
Oh,
Burning, attacking aliens and burning them on camera.
Wow, how fun!
As a special effects, and he always had this big bust of Spock in his bedroom, I guess. So I always used to remember that.
Wow. Well, he wasn't just a geek; he was a true nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know about that. He was more about the shooting and the special effects more so than the science behind it all. I think I kind of got more into the science, and Mom will pray. I know more about the story than the pow pow. But either way, it was fun. It got me to it, and happy to be where I got.
That's really cool. I have never heard that story before.
I don't think I ever said it.
No, really. Exclusive here on Anti-Derivative Show. Bird came to love Star Trek.
It's a bit disappointing because the same uncle, he looks at Star Trek Discovery and he says, "Oh, yay, pow pow." Doesn't hate it.
Oh, well, at least he loves the good stuff. Just forget about the rest.
I cry on the inside.
But what's worse is if someone likes only the new stuff but doesn't care about the old.
No, it
could be worse.
He does love the original. Captain Kirk is his captain.
You can forgive him. He's family.
I said, how could you love this?
Mm-hmm.
No, he doesn't love it.
Oh, wow. The Reluctant Dragon's mother just turned 90. That's wonderful.
Congratulations.
Happy birthday.
Ari Bavel, he says, do you remember the Time Tunnel Season 2 debut in color? There was no Season 2 Time Tunnel. It only lasted 1 year. The Krakatoa explosion. That's not the season premiere of Time Tunnel was on the Titanic.
So is this one of those things where you're not recognizing a season that you don't like?
No, Time Tunnel was only one season.
Oh, it really was only one season.
Yeah, it was only one season, and it also was Irwin Allen's favorite of his 4 series, and it didn't take off. It started strong.
Okay, so these are facts.
These are facts. Just the facts, ma'am.
Sweet.
And then earlier, the Reluctant Dragon said that his mom didn't like Captain Kirk because he was a ladies' man.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to respond to that because you could have explained to her that Kirk's main love was the Enterprise and that he was most of the time, except for like Edith Keeler and a few exceptions, and old girlfriends, most of the time he was seducing the ladies for the Enterprise, not because he was always in love with everybody.
On shore leave, the way Shatner reacts, he's like, Ruth, how can it be you? The way he says that, it's so silly.
Yeah. And so that's one of the old girlfriends.
Yeah. It's me, Jim. It's me. It's
He
Ruth.
did love her.
No, it's a fake Ruth. She was constructed underground on this planet.
She was real enough for him for a little
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, and he walks off with her at the end. I'm like, uh-oh.
Oh man.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah. Fun time.
But she's a robot.
Explain to my mother. Says the reluctant dragon. Oh, okay.
Public relations.
Kirk was just doing public relations. Yeah, right. You got to communicate with the artificial intelligence.
Yeah. My mom always thought William Shatner was incredibly handsome. So she liked Kirk.
Guys, I gotta go. I gotta go pick up my children. I was having so much fun. I didn't realize the time.
Oh.
And so I will end the poll with 49 votes. 49% give it a 45% rather give it a B. 35% give it an A. 14% a C, and D2 and F still at 6%. Poll ended. Thank you to the chat and everybody for hanging out with me to talk about this episode, That Which Survives. And we have survived. And I hope that Pop Culture Curator had a good trip and got everything done that he needed to do. And I hope that Scotty R37 gets his power back sooner than later. Yeah, I know his day, he's saying, is pretty much shot, and hopefully he can still have a fun day even without the internet. Or he has his phone, but he has to take it to the car to charge it. Probably, I'm only guessing now. Now I'm just making stuff up, but that's one way
Speculation.
he can. Yeah, I'm speculating on Scotty's day.
Yeah, I hope he gets his power back soon.
Mm-hmm. But I want to appreciate everybody who could make it, and thank you to an incredible chat that added a lot of really cool stuff to this episode, and also to my awesome panel. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
this is always a lot of fun. I just love talking Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Well, I guess obviously because. And so I'll leave you guys with do you got any of you have any last things you want to say? And I think, yeah, I better go.
Go. But
thank you so much, Jill.
So I'm gonna leave off. Yes, you're welcome. And so I'll leave you guys off with the preview for next week. So next week is Let That Be Your Last Battlefield.
With the Riddler.
Yeah.
Riddler. Oh man.
Frank,
hey, we keep having
Ocean.
Batman. We keep having Batman actors.
Yeah.
Everybody have a great day.
Yeah, have a wonderful day,
thank
everyone.
You, Commodore.
Bye.
Have a great one, everyone.
Kapla.
Kapla.
I'll sit on the warp engines myself and nurse them.
Reverse polarity should seal the incision.
It's headed straight for us.
It just disintegrated.
What is it now?
It seems to have deposited an alien presence.
Where?
Right here, Captain. This ship is now under my direction.
I will not return to Charon with him, to a land of murdering oppressors. He's a liar. Herded us together like cattle and then sold us as slaves.
Beale, you keep this up and you'll never get to Charon with your prisoner. This will be your final battlefield. Your 50,000 years of pursuit will have been wasted.
I am captain of the ship, and it will follow whatever course I set for it, or I will order its destruction.
You're bluffing.
Computer, destruct sequence 1A.
Destruct sequence completed and engaged.
Kill him!
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, it feels like ants crawling all over my body.
learn all that is learnable.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.